everybody. It's Play It Forward again here on Loading Ready Run on Twitch TV. I'm Beej, and we are playing Shadowrun Hong Kong. Right now, it's whiskey time. And you know what that means? When it's whiskey time, we have to eat ass. I'm not gonna eat any ass though. What I've got instead is I've got this fruits sandwich, which I got yesterday. Because Fuji had just started selling them and I was like, well, I gotta have a fruit sandwich. It's delicious. Real good. Hey Adam, want a bite of my fruit sandwich?
Fuck no! Yeah, you tell him.
Yeah.
Keep that fucking weird shit away from me, Beej.
The weeb shit.
Weeb shit.
Keep that weeb shit away from
me. Weeb shit away from me. You look like with that fucking mouthful of sandwich, you're like you're late for class or some shit.
Eating on camera.
I want to show everybody my fruit sandwich.
People demanded it.
Fruit.
They're like, eat on camera. Show us your feet.
They never demanded. They always complain about it in VODs.
Mm-hmm.
What, the Beej eats on camera?
No, when people eat in general.
That's why I never eat.
That's why you're so trim. Wow.
Well, you always eat. Secret
I never eat.
Like, at all? You were always eating.
I've never seen Adam eat it.
Thank you.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Have fun, Beej.
Thanks, guys. See you later. Duck the game audio a hair more, because man, do I find it loud. Hi, you're gonna have some?
Yeah, of course I'm gonna have some.
Some of the softer bit, I think. It's good, eh?
Yep.
It's weird because you'd think like, oh, there's no way that can be good because it's on what? It's on Chocoban, but yeah. So thank you everybody for showing up. Really happy to see you all here. As you can see, we're halfway through the geomatic sabotage mission in Shadowrun Hong Kong. We're not finishing the game tonight. We're just finishing the mission tonight, obviously. And from here, we were supposed to move on upstairs because apparently you only do 50% of your chi disruption on this floor, and then you have to move on in order to do the rest of it. So we're gonna move on. All right, so I have to disrupt chi in the temple. I love how the music ducked so hard because it was like, oh, now you're upstairs. We're not playing the music on the stairwell or in the elevator. Just walk out here. Okay. So we have dragon lines, a lot of them. And the whole place opens up. Why do they get to move first? This is horseshit. So, a fruit sandwich is strawberry, peach, in this case sometimes it could be mango, but strawberry, peach, and kiwi. That is drizzled in syrup, probably just like the simple syrup, and then lots of whipped cream. And that's between 2 pieces of chocopan, generally, because that's the most popular white bread in Japan. And it's delicious because it's like a sweet treat, but it's not between cake, so that must mean something. Yeah? Monday 2? Yes, we can do that. Great. It's so good. I mean, you probably wouldn't have to put syrup on the fruit if you had just put the fruit in a bowl with like a bit of sugar just to sweeten it a little bit and just let the juices of the fruit just naturally absorb that over time. Or you could put like, take the peaches out of whatever they've been soaking in, whether it's juice or whether it's like water, and just let the other fruits kind of soak in it as well. But yeah, Okay. So first things first, if I want to have any chance of doing really good damage, I should move into a dragon line right now. Which I'm right now behind medium cover. It's a move to medium cover. I think it's a fine idea. I have a really good shot, not as good a shot. And it's on a dragon line too, and it probably makes sense for me to like actually like take this guy out if he's covering that dragon line, because he's gonna get a lot stronger a lot faster. And I don't have any sort of way to like steal his abilities, and that's okay. Or we can set up light air barriers so these guys take damage if they continue to move. And I don't know if they are, so let's just have a look to see where I can put these. So we know that there's some dudes over here, and I could lay down light air over here. There's going to be spirits, I think, along here somewhere. So I could kind of just put air barriers up to make it harder on them moving. That's kind of nice as a way to prevent them from doing anything like from getting any closer. So I could maybe do it like over here. Or really far away. I feel like I have enough people to look after this. Though I do want to see what my acid bolt's going to do when I make this hit. So let's just try to hit him. Not bad. Alright, Isabel is going to shoot gunny guns. I feel like have her post up over here, because we're going to have more might on that side. I think this is a safer place to be. Aim shot. I think we can do this. Not bad. Raptor! Raptor definitely needs to get in a place where he can see, but also not cause any issue. It's going to cost 1 for that to go into control mode, so we're going to post Raptor up, I think, here. Just because it's less angle. We're going to have Koshei go into control mode. And we're going to start with... probably put Koshei out in the open, or I guess I could put him behind heavy cover just to start the whole, this whole nonsense. Because I could get behind something and then take a shot, which is not bad. But I'm not really getting... I should be more aggressive with Koshei, I think. Let's post up here. I think we're going to start using grenades as well as a thing. But I'm going to worry about Koshei doing that, and obviously we'll work on Isabel with the grenade launcher as well. Duncan will go here. So he's more out in the open and more likely to be a shot. We're going to have him take aimed shots. Oh yeah, that would be really good. Not a bad start. Okay. I suffered some armor damage. Okay. So still on Dragon Line, which is good. I feel like... I'm gonna take these shots. Work on that nature spirit, I think. Probably again. Damn it. Alright, Isabel. With burst fire. That's not a good shot. But you know what is? Probably better chance of this. Isn't really worth it. Try again. That's better. Oh, thing's almost dead. All right. We could shoot, or oh, that's Raptor. Or we can. We should give Koshei more abilities. How is my line of sight blocked? Like, I should be able to see over that. For God's sake. Alright. Do I move him over? Maybe? How far do I move him over to make it worth it? I'll move him over here. Now can you see him? No, you just had 1 AP, so it didn't make a fucking difference. Alright. We're gonna take... I'm gonna hide here because I can shoot behind me, I think. So I'm gonna put Duncan out in the open in a way. But the idea is he's gonna take that shot. Should have kept the aim shot. Oh well. Never didn't have it. Drones. Really good shots. Let's do this. And probably one more. We're gonna do that crit. That is not bad. Drive that thing off. Should still be able to. Maybe one more. Nope. Isabel's out of ammo, so we're gonna reload because we're gonna have to use that in a bit anyway. And ain't no way she makes this shot. Do we move her up, since we're gonna have to move her up eventually anyway? She has one left anyway. I'll move her up. Raptor. I'll move him up so I can move him along. And we'll use Koshei for this, I think. Just maybe take the shot. Okay. So I got another dragon line over here, and what looks to be another potential spirit to summon. There are more dudes over here that we have to be concerned about. Maybe I'm gonna go this way. There's just so many lines up here. Alright. Maybe I'll go this way. Found a cheat point. Ugh. Right, we're gonna have to really do some damage up here, aren't we? Oofa, oofa, oofa. Alright. Now, we can go loud and earn this chance to go loud immediately, obviously. But that thing is definitely guarding that. If I go into combat, I do not have any places I can do any of this stuff. Like, I figure I need some actual cover. That's cover. God, that sucks for cover. And I can't, there's no other cover along here. So I take this. And, there we go, now I can see him. He's on a heavy dragon line. he probably doesn't want to get off of it either. Boom shakalaka. All right. That's heavy cover. That's heavy cover. I feel like I want her and Ractor to hide behind stuff. I guess we move her up to here. And Ractor puts Koshei into control mode, for one. And then also he goes to light cover. He should hang back even more, I think. Or does he from here grant Koshei, yeah, more movement and whatnot? Good. Koshei then has 3 AP. This is probably this is not a bad idea, I think. Duncan needs to get to somewhere that's reasonably safe. It doesn't seem good. Sure. All of a sudden I lost audio in my right ear. It's kind of there still. Weird. Okay, so he's got a shot left. Naturally. What's his chance? So he has 99% on a standard shot. We could also beanbag shot to take away 2 AP. Like, that's not bad. That's not bad, actually. Just to keep this thing from doing anything. Alright. I can get to a light line. I can also summon a spirit, which I'm going to do. I don't have enough AP to summon a spirit. I need 3 to do that. So if I do that, I only grant myself 1. Damn. That's rough. I need something to give me 3 AP, but oh well, I guess I can't. So I would assume this is not a bad move. Not a great move, but that's okay. That actually is pretty good overall. We have the Balanced Fire Spirit. Ractor's gonna give increased accuracy. Because I'm pretty sure... Oh yeah, he can take that shot easily. Target head. 55%. That's 82%. Let's do that. And 70 versus 55. I think we do 70. Damn it. Duncan can take that shot. It ain't great. That makes it a bit better. Is it below 25%? It is not. Take a standard shot. Missed. Alright, what do you do? Oh, I thought you would have moved to a dragon line. Ow. Well, you moved in close enough. Crit. Smack. Done. Okay. That's not bad. So now we need to walk around a bit. Do not need to summon that spirit. I guess maybe I should kind of keep walking along all the places, though. I need to find all the cheat points. It seems the only way they get revealed is if I... walk near them. I like standing on those things, it's fun. Ah, water pipe. We're not going to touch that yet. Oh, what's this sound like? Sounds good. Don't want to touch that thing. Just need to do a couple more. Was over here already. And yes, as has been pointed out in chat, I'm steering. So I would ask that no one give me hints or tips about what it is I'm supposed to do, unless I'm going to miss something very cool. In which case I'd like just a vague thing about if you go through with the thing, you're going to miss an opportunity to do something else. So just want to let you know that, and then I'll ask whether I want more of that or not. That just will be how that works out. Yeah. I can't do anything about that spirit because I'm not in combat anymore. That's fine. Yeah, the, definitely the, I'm hitting tab because apparently if you hit tab, it can reveal things you can click on. And I'm just hoping that maybe I'll get into an area and I'll press tab and something will pop up. Not like it's happened yet, though. Yeah, it's kind of, this is a no spoiler playthrough, please. This is my first playthrough. Excuse me. Can't walk all the way over there. Broken water pipe. Something way over here that I'm missing. Oh, hold tab. There's nothing like pee in the fountains, I'm guessing. mean, if it turns, as Shadow's Silence has pointed out, that if just blowing up the thing is the last 15%, that does make a lot of sense. We could just drop a quick save, and then I could just go do that, I guess. So yeah, we ruined the garden, we touched another thing. I feel like whatever I do over here is probably going to be sufficient. That's 100. That's it. Gained a karma. I did the disrupt key in the temple. So now I have to escape the whooshing sky tower. There's supposed to be a Buddha up here, I thought, that I was really supposed to give it to. And unless they mean that lotus. But I swear there was a thing like, go to the top and destroy that Buddha. And I'm like, alright. Where is it? Ah. Eliminate the corporate security. Well-dressed man steps forward, his peers staring smugly in your direction. His clothes are smart and clearly expensive, but lack the typical padding worn by guards and thugs. A quick look at his associates reveals the same style. Mages. Wuxing Geomancer. On behalf of Wuxing Incorporated, we've been instructed to prevent your further vandalizing of the company's property and assets. However, they never specified how, so I vote we do this the easy way. The mage motions to you with a flick of his wrist. Leave no survivors! Oh, and you get to go first, prick. Alright. Oh, that costs a lot less to summon, though. Well, then I can step over here, I think. I'm gonna borrow this. Summon a spirit. Hey, avalanche. Alright. Might as well start by doing that, I guess. Not a bad start. We can give armor to people if I want. What's everyone's armor look like right now, anyway? I'm at 6, 4, 4, 5, 6. Maybe we're okay. Alright, just another rock fist, maybe? Just wham. Jesus! Why not one more? Yeah. Okay. So next, Isabel realizes, hey, I have a grenade launcher. Ho, ho, ho. Can you do that again? You do pretty good anyway. Now, Raptor posts up. Enter control mode. Oh yeah. I feel like it's probably a good idea to just take this person out so they don't have an extra hit. So we'll come over here and do that. Zot. Yeah, that must suck. And then we're gonna take some AP out of you. Duncan gets really close. Or maybe just... Or really just like does this. Not bad. Oof. I took that hit. You hurt my little friend. Oh, you're all gonna hurt my little friend. Alright. So. Might do that again. I'm glad I did. Alright, you guys left cover. I'm gonna leave, God, I would love to basically just reload and shoot that again. We can do that. Okay, so I'm gonna send, first we're gonna use Raptor's one remaining here to be like, let's give Koshi some increased movement. I'm gonna send Koshi over here. Just ruin this man's, I'm about to ruin this man's whole career. I might even do it again. Jesus. So then Isabel's like, oh, I know what I can do. Duncan's got clear shots. Nice. Still have to escape, but we're doing fine so far. Let's drop a quick save. How's everyone doing on health? 40, 60, 40, 40. I don't think there's any other things to do over here. I didn't see anything else. Besides, it was only the last thing we have to do. So leave the Sky Tower. As you reach for the elevator's control panel, you can feel the electric sensation of the chi dancing across your skin. The feeling is noticeable to those not even magically attuned. Disruption here is that strong. Behind you, the trapped and turbulent chi swirls inside the iconic Sky Tower atrium. You can actually see the air around the atrium warp and ebb as the chi surges and breaks against the obstacles around it, looking for a way to move, to flow, and finding none. Interesting to me, actually, that it's like every place probably has chi flowing through it. But it feels like because they designed the tower to like move it the way they want it to move, that it's because you throw off the balance, then it manifests. And I'm like, that's really interesting because like in like Kowloon Walled City, we didn't walk around seeing a lot of like chi disruption. It was just everything's shitty. So it's almost as if like when you make things bad and then chi screws up and it's like, but everything around is like everything should be good. It's like, no, the chi needs to equalize, right? It's like, I need to fuck up some stuff around here so that chi can like settle down and be like, ah, now we have some bad. But anyway, who knows? The job is done. You've desecrated the Wuxing Lotus, and in doing so, blemish the prideful face of a megacorp. Duncan, not bad for a night's work. He turns his back on the temple. I think we did the job up to the client's standards, huh? The elevator arrives at the temple. Time to duck out the back door before security can respond further. And you do. Hey, oh yeah, we just leave. Wuxing won't know what hit them. The embarrassment of their own geomantic science turned against them will sit unfavorably on the tongues of Wuxing executives, and maybe even get a few people terminated. They'll know it wasn't just the building you battered. You sent a message. Everyone has a weakness that can be exploited. The change in feng shui should keep them spinning for months. The complete disruption of their chi and destruction of their temple will cripple the energy at this branch of the company. With Wuxing focused on restoring their temple, it will be a long time before they discover the full extent of your assault. It's interesting that, though, that it's like, I remember them saying, oh, we have to destroy that Buddha at the top of the thing. And I bet you that might have been a thing where in further development, they were like, wait, does it have to be a Buddha? That's a pretty heavy religious symbol to destroy. What if it was a lotus or something else? And they didn't change it in that one line of dialogue because it might have just gotten missed. All right, I will drop full save. James K says, I like that the game doesn't make you backtrack if there's no risk. I agree, just knowing that you can just leave now, because it's like, the mission was only designed to let you do FNA, so there it is. You've done your thing, that's all that is. So I met Kindly Cheng's friend, yes. It's catching all this up, yes. All right, everyone strap in for the 2 hours of reading stuff. I now have 26. How can I do here? Spend karma. Max charisma. So I need 33 in order to fill out everything successfully, and I'm at 26. So that means I need another 6. That sounds like one more mission. And then we'll have full charisma, I'll have all the etiquettes, and then I'll be able to focus on buffing myself in other ways. Oh, the lotus is a direct representation of Buddha. Thank you, Pixel Savage. Optional, get some rest. I mean, we could just keep doing more things, I think. It's probably fine, but... And it can also get paid for stuff. Regardless, as I said, we drop a save. We get... What do you do when you get back? You drop a save. What do you do now that you... every time you do a thing, you drop a save. What do you do before you upgrade everybody's stuff? You drop a save, I guess. So I have a choice now. Gobbet got some upgrades. Let's do those. Okay. Spiritualist, which is augment summon, shrine spirits. All shrine spirits summoned by Gobbet are now present for an additional turn before dispelling themselves for a total of 3 rounds. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. Or Territoriality, augment spell Poison Fog. Augments Poison Fog upgrade to Acidic Fog, doing AP damage to those affected as well as HP damage. Ooh. I mean, yeah, Acid Cloud does sound pretty good, Johnny Glitch, but, yeah, being able to do AP damage, so they just can't do anything in a turn, is really nice. And it's more often than not that I can use Poison Fog, I think, than I would be using for Shrine Spirits. Like, it's like, I can just be like, oh, what if we just... I haven't cast many Fogs or anything else so far, because it's, I haven't had Gobbet on many runs. Having a spirit available for an additional turn before dispelling themselves is kind of nice. You get 3 rounds out of a spirit, but I'm also... I don't really see the huge deal. There are some good buffs coming for her later. Oh man, Plague Barrier sounds awesome too. Getting another body on the ground though is also not a bad idea. Man, I think maybe Poison Fog is the way to go here. Like, I like this Shrine Spirits thing, but I think just having the ability to use this even when there's areas when I can't, it's like I can just have this, so that's not bad. Alright, let's go to Isabel. I now have Napalm charges if I want it. Target on fire will take initial 6 HP damage, or Espionage. Gains the dual routine boost program, which increases persona speed while sneaking in the Matrix by 40%. Does not stack with the other boost programs. The hell does that mean? Dual routine boost program, which increases persona speed while sneaking in the Matrix by 40%. So it's basically this espionage thing. While I'm in the Matrix, I can move further? Oh, frees up a program slot if you like the boost program. Oh, interesting. It's funny how before I was like, the mini launcher, I never used that, I'm not going to bother. But now I've been using it a lot, and it's like, oh, that's having the ability to just shoot somebody with a napalm charge. Just everyone in the area so they take additional damage. It's like, that's kind of cool. She is my only decker, though, so maybe concentrating on more of the decking abilities is not bad. I've never had to use this, but maybe I should try using it. Sure. Duncan! Nail grenades, Jesus. Or, so he just gets new grenades. Okay, so he gets a flashbang. Has larger AoE, increased by 1 tile in all directions. Haven't used the flashbangs yet. Might. Because his things are lethal force or crowd control. Lethal force. Nail grenade gets a lethal shrapnel-filled grenade. Base damage 12, ongoing 4 damage for 2 rounds. Strips and armor. Haven't used his grenades much. Might get on doing that soon. I didn't even use the flashbang, so I don't really, like, it's just a better version of that. A harder hitting grenade seems like not a bad idea. Ah yes, Red Samurai, or Ghoul. So I can bite. Oh, this gets some health back. Or plus 100 damage, can only attack stun targets, cost 2 AP, cooldown 3. So that means I'd have to do, which I have been doing, AP damage, which, I mean, Koshei can do. And if I do it hard enough, then Gaichu could literally move in and just be like, ah, done. I like the idea of him having a way to get hit points back, just on his own, like some self-healing, but it doesn't mean he has to get in close. And he gains strength, which is a good thing for him anyway. This is like an always kind of good thing. This is like, if I can do a thing, this is really great. Like, having everyone being able to fight as a team. I see Bodacious Knee brings up flashbangs affect AP, and it's like, sure. So, if I took flashbangs here, and we have other things that are affecting AP, and I have Gaichu with me, it's like, if I have an assortment of people who can do AP damage, and just put people to stun, it's like, then Gaichu can step in and be like, I'm gonna just ruin your world. Oh, it's tough. Yes. Please don't tell me what you take until I take the thing. God. I'm always very nervous. Do you have any ways of doing AP damage with Beej? Because it's always with me. The closest I can do right now is Air Barrier, but I can cast more things that can do AP damage if I take, like, harder versions of it. It's an interesting idea. Cannibalism rocks and you lack a tank ability anyway, right? Yeah. Just knowing that I can knock an enemy out if I reduce it to, like, sleep is kind of cool. That just means, like, I put you to sleep, maybe Gaichu's not close enough, so then I cast haste, and then Gaichu has to run up and coup de grace, whatever it is. God, that's tough. Alright, let's just look at Ractor. What's he got? Ah, Predator and Mangler. Oh, Jesus. Oh, well. That could come in handy. Augmented Repair. Oh, but I've been using Overclock a lot more. Get plus 2 AP and plus 2 movement for a round. Oh, I gotta take that. I gotta just... He's gotta run faster. So we do that. And we do... I haven't even had to have a run with Gaichu yet, so it's a little weird. The guy I'm fighting takes plus 2 and then plus 1 AP damage. It's not bad. This just sounds cooler, even though it's like, this seems really handy. When they say restoring 8 HP over 2 rounds, I'm assuming that must mean, like, you're either getting 8 per round for 2 rounds, or you're getting You have to wait 2 rounds, and then you get your full 8. Because it doesn't say 8 per round for 2 rounds. Why do you have to make this so hard? I might even end up fighting with Gaichu, so... Yeah, or do you get 4 and then another 4, you know, like... I would assume it would say 4 per round for 2 rounds, totaling 8, but... This just seems so rad. It does. Take the rad thing. And if I do that, I should try to have people have more things that can do AP damage, just in case. Because I have, like, Koshei has one now. Duncan would definitely have one with that. I haven't been marking. I should be doing that. Gobbet, I think, definitely has that. Yeah, the Poison Fog will do that too. It's like, that's not bad. I think that's probably a pretty good mix. I'm going to do that. So, Gobbet gets Poison Fog. Isabel's getting the boost program for when she's in the Matrix. Duncan's taking the modded Flashbang, because he can also do the 2 AP damage there, but he can also do this as well, so it's like having a few other options is not bad. Gaichu takes the coup de grace, and Raptor grants +2 AP and +2 movement so that Koshei can move faster and can do more things, potentially rendering AP damage as well. This kind of sets everybody up with the ability to like accompany, that's what I meant to say, Gaichu's ability if Gaichu's coming along for the ride. And if not, everyone's getting the bonus of nobody else gets to attack for a round, so we get a chance to like post up better and actually do more damage. So I've confirmed that. And now we exit. Now I drop another save. Now what do I have to do here? It's get some rest or do these things. So I have more things to do. We'll get to those. Raptor wants me to do his job obviously soon, so we'll look into that. I'm gonna go down here and see if somebody's dropped another med kit. They have not. Alright, let's go to Chrome Alley. Now we will begin the chatter. Alright, so if I hold down tab, nothing else is accessible in the room. So let's talk to Ambrose. What's up, Ambrose? Ambrose looks rougher and more tired than usual. These dreams are getting out of hand, Beej. You got them too, right? I normally wake up more tired than when I fell asleep, but this is nuts. After you got smashed up, how you become a street doc. We'll talk about Reliable Matthew in a minute. Ambrose's face becomes grin. You want to keep going with this, Beej? Alright. After that ambush, things were desperate for a long time. We had to borrow a lot of money. Karen had blown ears and a brain injury. I was a chunk of raw meat. I was so bad I was almost euthanized. Shit, I wanted to be put down. Then we turned the tide. Wait, why didn't they euthanize you? Because of Karen. She raised holy hell about it. She was trans-Catholic and they're dead set against suicide. To them, it's the worst sin. See, they think we're all incarnate to do our lives' karmic work. No matter how shitty that work is, all other beings in the universe rely upon us to finish it, so we must see our lives through. Personally, I don't buy it. I just can't believe the universe is that cruel. Ambrose shakes his head in exasperation. Karen was a walking contradiction. She had high aspirations, but she was terrible at all that thou shalt not kill or steal or throw people off subway platform stuff. Ambrose rolls his eyes and gives a strained grin. She was like, Ambrose, if you smoke yourself, I will hunt you down your next life and gut you. I felt I owed it to her to live. That was the first time I felt like I owed anything to anyone. His face clouds with anger and hurt. And then what she did to me? Unfucking believable. What did Karen do? That's her unnerved, Beej. Ambrose's brows draw low. He glances with intense anger towards the operating table for a moment. Karen betrayed me. I don't want to talk about it. How did you turn the tide, or how'd you pay all that money back? Turn the tide. Our hall had a really high-grade medical program in it, and I figured out a wild kludge to run it on my cyber. I hate saying kludge, but apparently that's the way you're supposed to say it. I thought it was kludge, because it looked like trudge and sludge all look the same as this, but it's kludge, apparently, and I'm like, I like kludge better. If anyone else can back that up, you know, hey, great. We borrowed a bunch of money from Kindly and the Kafai tribe to set up Chrome Alley. The rest is history. I thought we'd make a killing. He looks proudly around the medical clinic cum machine shop. Maybe it's not a killing, but it turned out to be a pretty good life. Do you ever think about the program's owners coming after you? Hey, I worry about a lot of people coming after me. Nobody ever really gets out of the shadows, but my trail is cold. I've had this thing for 5 years now. Ripshot is dead. 10-armed Ambrose lives here now. Let's talk about Reliable Matthew. Ambrose sighs. His expression suggests that he's had this conversation before. Thank you. I caught up on the Kludge versus Kludge thing from the chat. What about Maddie? Why are you giving him BTLs? Why am I giving him BTLs? Ambrose bristles. So he doesn't have to get cheap shit that's going to fry his brain from a street dealer. That's why. Those cool blues are pharmaceutical grade. Their tracks run clean and clear as live opera. Ambrose catches himself. Patient confidentiality. I already said too much. He's medicated. God knows he deserves it. Sounds like he has a medical need. That he does. Well, what's his deal? He's a shy, sensitive guy who's had a rough life. Now he's got a shit job selling people the thing they love to hate. Ambrose shakes his head in exasperation. Poor guy. He wouldn't harm a fly, but if there's someone who should have failure to adapt tattooed on their forehead, it's Maddie. Alright, he sounds like he's in a bad situation with his suppliers. Maddie is always in a bad situation with his suppliers. He's a terrible businessman and used drone selling. That's a brutal business. You always have a lot more metal on the lot than you can afford, and the commissions are a pittance. Maddie doesn't want help to do something else. Maddie doesn't want help to do something else, though. He wants to hole up his little drone buddies and be left alone. Ambrose thrusts his chin out defiantly. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Commend you thinking about him, Beej. I really do. A lot of cases like Maddie come through my door, and I feel for them. If I didn't have this gig, I may be right there with him. There, but for the grace of Chrome and body go I. Ambrose makes a mock toes with the arm. To Reliable Matthew. Hold true, little buddy. There's a rest for you at the end of the tunnel. To Reliable Matthew. May he hang in there. Alright, let's talk about something else. This is just getting depressing. Do I need anything? What have you got on you? Basics, advanced, standards, and golds. I think I'm doing okay. Yeah, I got what I need, I think, so far. Not so bad. Exit. Goodbye, Ambrose. Cheers, Beach. Talk to you later. I feel like... Blink some more. Get my eyes lubricated. Talk to... Oh, as you pass in front of the walled city, something takes hold of your chest and squeezes. An internal pang like a panic attack, but worse. You feel your chest compress, and for a second, the world turns to liquid. It takes all the effort you can muster to keep from falling over. A strobing patchwork of images flashes before your eyes. Fragments of dream and sense memory all stitched together, playing on a loop in your head. Walled city residents kneeling. The churning sound of grinding gears. Leaning buildings, soiled streets, used needles on a sidewalk. The images come faster and faster. Teeth. Thousands and thousands of teeth. The Redmond Barons, the first man you ever saw killed. A crown of ivory over a shimmering veil. Duncan at age 10, his legs pumping, running for his life from a pack of Halloweeners. Strange anatomy that doesn't make sense to your logical mind. A door. A heavy industrial door. Something is written on it in faded yellow paint, but you can't make it out. And just like that, the slideshow ends. The images fade to nothing, returning you to the highway streets. The outermost facade of the walled city towers over you, huge and oppressive. A group of Kindly Cheng's blue lanterns pass you by, oblivious to the event that just took place in your head. I think I'll try to walk it off. You take a step forward, then another. You still feel woozy, but you don't need to take a knee. The event, whatever it was, is over. Your mind is your own. And then, talk to Frederick. Freddy Kafai is showing off some fresh ink to everyone who passes inside Club 88. On each forearm he has tattooed an anchor. He demonstrates how they look in various poses, from flexes to his standard arms folded across his chest. Not bad, right? Someone told me that only real sailors get tats like these, but you're not a real sailor, Fred. I figure it's appropriate either way, seeing as how my meat hooks hit like a pair of anchors. Sailors also eat lots of spinach. You getting cute with me, Beach? Because, you know, I've been letting you strut about with your arms on... with your arms... I've been letting you strut about with your arms on account of respect for what you do. Don't go make me rethink that, because someday soon, This guy here is going to be part of a crew you wouldn't want to tangle with. We'll make you walk the plank or something. Hey, you serious about joining a pirate crew? Hell yes, not just any pirates, the most exclusive group out there on the water. The Hell Thunder Crew. I heard about them last week. They only take orcs and trolls like me. Tough bastards too, men to be feared. It's a perfect operation for me to join, and I'm sure they'll take me, especially when they learn who my father is. Wouldn't be surprised if they were inspired by him back in the day. Not many troll pirates back in my boss day. In fact, I bet they make me first mate or something just for being his blood. Have you talked with your father about all this? No. I want it to be a surprise. Don't want him feeling like he forced me into the family business, by which I mean piracy, not this fluff we got going on here. Oh, Freddy. Doesn't take a genius to see that my boss has no love for the club. I'm a little afraid he might be jealous when I tell him I'll be shipping out. I know he misses it. The adventure, the thrills. I can picture it all. Unfurling the black sails, running up the Skull and Crossbones, chasing down a fleeing ship, and then swinging across to plunder her hold. Yeah, I know it's not like that. These days it's speedboats and machine guns, climbing up rope ladders in heavy seas and shipjacking, but hey, that's what I'm cut out for. Thank you, Hosk. I am a handsome man. I've got a heart for the sea, but I'm not afraid of hardship and hard work and art and fights. I don't work out just to look good and bounce drunk smugglers. I'll leave you be, Freddy. Ah, Brent Shirky. Something I can help you with, friend? The elf has a hard-set look to his face and the cold stare of someone accustomed. You know, great. Can I give you like 20 to turn the volume down a bit? Thanks. And the cold stare of someone accustomed to casual violence. The most striking thing about him, however, are the glowing golden tattoos that wrap from his forehead around to the back of his head. Over just one ear. Just over one ear. Nice ink you've got there. Or potential hires, or try to meet the local color. Nice ink. It's not ink. Not really. It's a spell. The elf's tone is flat and disinterested, but he fixes you up with an intense stare. Magical tattoo, the kind of thing you tend to pick up in the business. What business is that, anyway? Fixing you with a dubious look, the elf cocks his head. What the hell do you think, man? Look at you. We're obviously working the same angle here in Hayoi. His name's Brent Shirky. He doesn't extend a hand, but nods at you in greeting. I'm a mage, one of the best in this hemisphere, in fact. I have to think that these are all Kickstarter backers. That's an awfully plain name. Brent shrugs. Name's not attached to any sin, so what does it matter? Alright, what do you do especially as a mage? What kind of bullshit question is that? Are you interviewing for a job writing tuxedos or something? Brent snorts and hunches over the table on one elbow. Magic is all about power. You can dress it up however you like, but that's the core of what it is. I've met a lot of magicians that talk about being spiritually in tune with the universe or reaching a higher state of enlightenment. It's all crap. You focus your will to enact a change in the universe. The stronger your will, the bigger the change. Calling it anything else is just window dressing. That's why I bring the big guns. Fire, lightning, raw force. My will is stronger than steel or Kevlar or stone. A good mage knows exactly how far they can push themselves, and they ride that limit. It's not the blessing of a totem or idol, but their own skill at knowing their limits, just like an athlete. That's a remarkably open way of putting it. But astral space and spirits, let's do that. It's where all magicians draw their power. Sure, there are spirits, but those are tangible. We can measure them. Totems? Idols? There's no external evidence they exist. In fact, it's much more likely they're just simply common Jungian-style archetypes that the superstitious use to explain their powers. I'm a shaman, dude. I guess we're done fucking talking. Alright. Why don't you use a street name? Brent shrugs, one corner of his mouth curling up into a wry smile. When I started running, I was too young to know better. By the time it mattered, I was too good for anyone to do anything about it. Since I'm sinless, it's not like any of the megas can attach meaningful information to the name. It's just as meaningless as any street name in terms of tracking me. Besides, street names have always struck me as a little ridiculous. You're gonna call yourself something that sounds like a Teenage Matrix handle and that shows you're serious? Please. I wouldn't be able to look at myself in the mirror if I just called myself something like Blackheart, Silverhand, or Adariel. It's just ridiculous. Adariel's like in the game, I think. Brent Shirky is a name that's mine. I've owned it all my whole life. Owned it my whole life. Why change that now? And then what's with the tattoo? Oh, this? Brent lifts two fingers, running them across the forehead from towards the vizier. Got this done in Yokohama a few years back. An old crewmate's brother's a tattoo artist there, specializing in quickened spells. You put this kind of ink in, it's like getting a spell cast on you for good. A ward will knock it down just like normal, but you'll never have to recast the spell, it'll just slowly regenerate. A nice alternative to cyberware. So what spell does it hold? Kind of prosaic, but I'm really allergic to pollution intensely. Developed it during a stint in Kolkata a few years back. Something about all the crap they pumped in the air just wrecked my lungs. I couldn't keep up on the job, so the spell alleviates the allergies. Holy shit, that sounds so good. Oh my god. Not as flashy as mind reading or something, but still useful. Yeah. Oh. I would totally get a magical tattoo so that I wouldn't have to have seasonal allergies. Ugh. Henry Coffey. I would probably even get the goddamn thing on my forehead. I would think about getting it on my forehead. Let's not commit. Alright, the patriarch of the Kafai clan seems more morose than usual. The effect is particularly pronounced because of his massive size and worn granite exterior. He looks like a mountain that has collapsed under its weight. Return to us again, Beej. Everything all right, Henry? It's nothing, I just haven't been sleeping very well. Bad dreams? As a matter of fact, yes, and to call them bad dreams would be putting it mildly. I don't remember much, and I'm thankful for that. But what I do remember, there was a woman's voice, possibly Ermin's, telling me I'm not wanted or needed. She urged me to leave by whatever means necessary. I think she wanted me to kill myself. My boys were there too, and they were young again, but they didn't talk. They just snapped at me, trying to bite me. And their teeth, they had far too many teeth. Rows upon rows of them, like shark teeth. I don't think I've ever been so scared in my whole life. Everything alright with Cullum and Freddy? I don't know, every time I try to be a father to them, I feel more and more like I'm anything but. I suppose because they're not my little boys anymore, they're grown men now. Wish it weren't the case. They were so much easier to handle and maybe easier to love back when they were just boys. Their dreams were just silly nonsense, but all the more endearing because of it. Now, as men, their ambitions frighten me. I worry, but I haven't the first clue on what to do about it. I talked to them, but I don't think Cullum respects me anymore, and Freddy's in his own little world. Can you believe he's convinced I was a pirate? Henry lets out a sad laugh and he just shakes his head. Did you have any run-ins with pirates? Back in my day, there weren't many true pirates in the waters around here. The bigger ships were too well defended, and the smaller ones were mostly not worth the effort. But as time went on, more and more money poured into Hong Kong. That money attracted more sophisticated criminals. Rigged vessels, some of them formerly military, firepower, electronic warfare, trained men. I was mostly lucky. Wu Jing was careful with its ships. They gave a lot of ships escorts in and out of port, in the stretches where pirates were most likely to strike. Anytime we had big assets in tow, they'd send an escort or an air squadron to cover us. We had some light guns in the tugboat, and that was enough. Pirates saw us for what we were, a trouble magnet with nothing worth stealing. There's only one incident, but we won't be talking about that. There are things I don't want my wife or boys to know about this world. Or me. I'll leave you be. Alright, Cullum. Cullum sits with his eyes closed and head back. One might assume he's asleep or trying to shake a particularly nasty hangover, but when he stirs, his eyes are clear and characteristically focused. Beej, right? What brings you back? It's good to see you sober, Cullum. I've cut myself off, got some serious thinking to do. What's going on? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. Oh, thanks, the Maricat. That's very nice of you. Could be a way out of this pit, a way to do something more with my life than sell cheap thrills in cheap pills. Turn the stream audio up. I had that down for some reason. What's this way out you mentioned? I met a man, or rather, a man sought me out and went to all the trouble to set up a meet and get into Haoi. That takes guts for someone corporate. He says he's a recruiter, like a talent scout from one of the big corporations, and they're interested in me. Me. Can you believe that? Even way down here in Haoi, they've heard of me. They see potential in me. Cullum Ka-Fai. One of the big shots of this corp wants to be my benefactor. It's amazing, right? Even Li Ka-Shing needed mentors, and he became one of the most successful men in the world. This is my start. This is my break. This recruiter wouldn't tell me the guy's name or the name of the corp. It's still all very preliminary. This is just a first step, you know, but a first step towards walking out of here. Is it really so bad here? You've been here long enough. You should know better by now. Most people figure it out in the first few hours. Haoi is a way station, halfway between something better and something worse. You stay here just accepting the fact that you'll never amount to anything. You're agreeing that all you care about is keeping your head above water. It's 4 good walls and 3 square meals at its best. Some people pass through on their way down before bottoming out in the walled city or as a floater up in the harbor. Others pass through on their way up to places like Taikoo Shing or Aberdeen. That's how I intend to go. Alright, well, I'm going to leave you be. Talk to your moms. Hello, Bobs. Ermin Kafai cleans and oils the disassembled parts of a half-dozen assault rifles spread on a nearby workbench. Her focus borders on obsessive, like a person rubbing her hands raw from excessive washing. Knew it. Just knew it. Everything all right, Ermin? She looks startled by the interruption, as if her words were not meant for other ears. Oh, nothing. It's nothing. Doesn't seem like nothing. She pauses in her work, staring at her hands a moment before finally turning her eyes upward. It's about Cullum and the man he'd been in contact with. I know who he is now, and it's not right. Who is he? Someone I once worked with at Bayou. A superior. He was a powerful man then, and that was over 20 years ago. He has grown even more powerful since, I have no doubt. If he isn't running the Hong Kong branch by now, it won't be long before he is, if that's what he wants. This is a man who gets what he wants. If he wants Cullum, I think I'm going to lose my son. She returns to her work, clearly trying to lose herself in it. Is Cullum alright? For the most part, yes, but I don't know how I can possibly keep him safe. I can't tell him why, but I have to make him understand that he cannot see this person. Ever. The closer I try to hold on to him, the quicker my boy seems to slip away. I fear I am driving him straight into the arms of this man. Whatever happens after would be my fault. All my fault. She returns to her work, clearly trying to lose herself in it. Let's look at your gear. Why not? Ah, Remington room sweeper. So many guns. So many big, expensive. Oh yeah, sniper rifles. Alright, we're out of here. Don't need to be here. Alright, keep going. Can talk to Spider. Spider! He is our hero. Spider! Get rid of Spider! Step on, Spider! Alright, the area behind Shen's table is even more cluttered than usual. Many of the glass cages have been pulled out of their neatly arranged stacks, lying about the floor of the boat like miniature reptilian landmines. Shen is busy checking each cage, marking the contents on a comlink. Be with you in a second, just seeing if an order's complete. Ball python, check. Asian keelback, check. Mexican vine snake, check. The Indian egg-eating snake's there too. Good. Looks like everything's here. Shen nods in satisfaction, placing the comlink on the table in front of you. Right, then what can I do for you? Thought you didn't sell your animals. I don't. Especially not the venomous ones, but this is different. I'm brokering a deal between a reptile wholesaler and a friend of mine who needs a lot of snakes for his next trid production. Shen plants a foot atop one cage, smiling broadly. You ever heard of a man by the name of Dr. Shenyang? Can't say that I have. Well, you'll know him if you see him, a greasy little dwarf who's friends with Kindly Chang. He's a cut-rate trid producer, makes some of the most god-awful films I've ever seen. He's always got some scandal or other up his sleeve. His films suck, but his schemes seem to pay out. I believe... Oh. Is it supposed to be Tri-D? Because they say Tridio all the time as well. Or Tridio, but whatever. Alright. So these snakes are for his next Trid movie, I think. He's calling it Martian Snake Witches of the Fourth Reich. Some terrible... It's nice to know that the Fourth Reich hadn't happened in this part, so that's alright. Some terrible science fiction movie about time-traveling wizards from the future. I thought it would be about Martian snake witches, but whatever. Shrugging, Shen throws both hands in the air. God knows where he gets the funding for these ideas. They sure don't sell for crap. This one time you want to make a Trid show starring me, White Ming, and the rest of our crew. It's going to be about our daily life in a triad, but he wanted to make it a sitcom. I don't really know what's so comedic about extortion, racketeering, and assault, but that's a strange little brain for you. Alright, well, keep safe, Jen. That is cool. Spider. Oh, that person who was sitting on their chair is now gone. I want to meet with the person who, what's her name? Was it not Rosalind? Was it Rosalind? Anyway, maybe we'll see her again. Maybe I just gotta walk further down and see if there's other people in this area. It doesn't seem to be. Alright. So now, drop a save. Because I know Law could have trouble with the metadata thing. Let's have a look here. Yo, Beach! Law's voice is gregarious, yet tinged with awe. He smells widely. How can I style out the carnivore? What do you need? Nothing. Gotta go. Okay, watch your back, shoot straight. That hand sign thing. Not giving you metadata yet. We'll do that soon. Don't need to go see kindly, so probably won't need to. Reliable Matthew flashes a winning smile as you approach. Well, that was a close one, Beej. Thanks to you, we're back in business, and just for you, I've got a red-hot deal in solar chargers. Just time for the sun! Stares up blissfully at the cloudy gray sky. Let's talk more about your medicine, Matthew. Matthew playfully blows the smoke off his cigarillo. My medicine? Can't think of a thing to talk about except how nice it is to see you. Nothing but blue skies over here, beautiful. Can you unchip? I'd like to talk to you. He sighs heavily through the plastic grin. All right, beautiful, all right. Clutching his cigarillo tensely between his fingers, he reaches up into his hair. With a faint click, he removes a chip. Expression goes slack and his shoulders slump. Matthew struggles to maintain eye contact as the slow tide of melancholy washes over his face. Hi, Beach. He says it timidly. He looks around disconsolately. Disconsolately. At the drone scattered deck. Here we are. Thanks for showing up. It's good to see you again. Matthew just stares at his feet for a long time, then mumbles quietly, still looking down. I don't want to be here, Beej. I don't want any of this. He lifts his head and he looks you in the eye, tentatively with a certain conviction. I know what people think. Some people like Ambrose don't look down on me, but everyone else, I just want them to leave me alone. I want to be left alone, okay? I don't blame you, brother. The world is screwed. I'm going to try to be nice. Or I could just give it to him. That's... I'm fighting the different narrative that I'm predicting in my brain. Because part of me's like, 2 and 3 are not what I want to answer. They're just too pat. I don't like that. Number 1, it's like, you know, it's okay, friend, I understand. You can go back now. Thanks for being real for a minute. You know, it's like, I feel like there's more there. Like, if I was actually trying to befriend this guy, I feel like being like, I understand. You should just go back. This is you're in a really tough situation. This is how you cope. I just wanted to hear from you as opposed to hearing from, like, what this chip is making you believe, which is kind of, because it's the thing, in this case, it's like, these act as antidepressants, I guess, in a way. It's like, that's not really, like, something about the chip is like, that doesn't seem to me like the same thing as if you were taking a pill to balance your brain chemistry. That's just like, I don't know why the chip feels so much faker than that. But yeah, it's like, I don't want to help him wallow in this. I'd rather just be like, it's cool that you do this, because if it's necessary for you, if this is the way you need to live, then this is how you need to live. And I don't want to be like, you need to give this shit up. It's like, that's not okay. You know, it's like, you don't need to. You know, Amber's got you on pharmaceutical grade things that improve your mood and make you feel better and make you feel like the person you need to be, right? Like, so it's like, yeah. That's why it's such a hard thing. It's like, you can't conflate the two. You can't say that, well, this is like, you know, this is an antidepressant. It's like, Though, is it? Like, I guess if it helps you cope, it's... But is it? So anyway. There are other drugs that help you cope, and they are not things I would take for, you know, I don't think are safe to take. But anyway. Yeah, that's a good point. The thing with mental stuff is, it just makes you feel better is a cure. When you think about it, it's like, if this actually does make you feel better, it's like, sure. And if this is what the future has brought, it's like, well, then this is a completely new option that's outside of any of our experience, right? So, you know, he's on something that's supposed to just smooth his experience. So, and yeah, as the chat's mentioning too, it's like our BTLs, the Better Than Life chip that he's taking, something that's very normal, you know, is like, is it, how extreme is that? It's like, yeah. I'd rather do this, I think. I just feel like that's, if I do this, I'm going to shut off a story option that comes out of this, but I don't want to have an argument with him. I'd rather just be like, I'm here, I'm supporting you. You know, you need to know that, you know, somebody actually does care about how you're doing as a person. Thanks, Peach. He gives just a shy nod, his deep recognition in his eyes. I know what I'm doing. I'm going back now. Matthew reaches up into his hair. There's a faint click as he snaps a BTL back into his data jack. His back ripples as he pulls himself upright. His face transforms with a sudden surge of feeling. Age, that was real. I mean, real. Beautiful. You've got some chops on you. Woo. He adjusts his tie with exaggerated gusto. You know, something I think about, may I tell you? It's going to blow your socks. Sure, go ahead. You're Peach, beautiful. So let's get real. Really real. Matthew takes a big, real breath. He looks around in satisfaction, hands on his hips. I'm not Matthew Shun, and I'm not Cool Blue Jazz. I'm both. Cocks an eye at you. I think a lot about where I'm from. Some coked up dude on a sim rig, recording his feelings, mass-produced in a factory, shipped out like a commodity. And this other poor guy on a slowly sinking, gasoline-reeking drone lot called a merchant of poverty by his neighbors, alone with his drones, the moldy smell of his trailer. Makes me angry, Beej. Angry about this heartless shit heap that calls itself meta-humanity. But it also makes me proud. Where are you going with this? Rival Matthew taps himself forcefully in the chest. I'm proud because I'm more than the sum of my parts. Whatever aimless tweaker my feelings come from, they merge with the guy who never had a chance, and they alleviate his pain. I live a life of honor. He looks around at the looming walled city, the polluted river, the dilapidated drone yard. I'm like a knight errant, a Yojia. I'm like the swordsman of Jia Diao. I fight for humanity. Thanks for reaching out to Matthew. Don't you worry, I'm watching out for him. Reliable Matthew nods in slow satisfaction, a wizened look on his face. As long as there's chips, I won't get tired. I'll never leave. I could have taken that academic right now if I wanted to. Oh well, that's fine. Claps his hands together and breaks into a gigantic grin. Now let's get back to it. Beautiful! Damn, Matthew. Yeah, damn, Matthew. That's reliable Matthew to you. Breaks out a fresh cigarillo and rips off the auto-igniter with gusto. Bursts to life in a puff of rank blue smoke. He regards you with a sly, exaggerated smile. Now, my honorable brethren in arms, how can I brighten your day? Bye! I got a karma for that conversation, it looks like. Oh. Somebody left something on their boat. Why did they leave this off on their boat like this? Just leaving things on their boat. Alright, Gin frowns. Look who's back. Why don't you go egg a car or something and leave us alone? He thinks I'm like a child. Lao. I, for one, enjoy Beach's visits. And if a smile touches Lao's lips as Gin grumbles to himself, how can we help you? It's the same thing, isn't it? Still having all the dreams? This again. You're also having dreams, however, a lot worse. Information could help others. Sure. Danker, darker, violet. Not danker, darker. Punches in the senses, the imageries. Staring at me for a while. It's the same thing. Need to go faster. Understood, take care. Upset anybody, yeah. So it's interesting that I can have the same conversation again. I didn't expect that. Oh, hey. Mysterious elf. Well, we're gonna put a save here. Definitely. Brief commercial. I gotta go clean my contact lens, but I'll be back in a few minutes because it'll probably take me a few minutes to do that. See you in a few minutes. So, I'm back. Hello. Oh, Christ. The lights that brighten my face and make me look lovely and probably smooth out some of the skin imperfections that you would normally see in real life are also very bright when I've just cleaned my contact lenses. I'm just going to not look at them, and I'm instead going to gather up gyrodite. Maybe I'll catch a fish. Don't mind me. I'm not changing the thing to say that I'm playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It's only going to take me a couple seconds. I've just about got everything. I am pretty much due for new contact lenses anyway. I've had them almost 3 years. And that's the amount of time to get them polished. I think we've gotten to the point where they are subtly warping. And I need to order some new ones. Probably on Monday, in fact. I'll probably do that. And that'll be expensive. I do have vision coverage from my private insurance that I buy, but it is not complete, it is only partial. So it's still, and then also whether or not they're going to cover that is another thing, because I already had the fight once with them when I worked in a union and had the fight with them. Where I tell them that it's like, hey, so I want a when I want a I want these new contact lenses, and they're like, oh yeah, well, we're not going to cover those. And I had to get which is weird because I'm like, I have vision coverage, what the shit. And I had to get the person, my not a union rep, but somebody in the HR office basically had to contact them. And then I heard back about an hour later and saying, oh, they're covering your lenses, don't worry about it. And I'm kind of like, what did you do? And I wish I had actually said that, been like, I need to know what I have to do to get that done, because I had the doctor's notes sent in. I had all sorts of stuff to say, look, this is, he literally cannot get glasses or anything cheaper. He has to have these contact lenses, otherwise he can't see. We can't correct his vision properly with standard anything anymore. Otherwise it's just headaches all day. So anyway, these are Rose K lenses. They are rigid gas permeable lenses, but Rose K is a very specific style. They have a little, your eye has a little bump in the dead center of your cornea. There's a little bump there. Cornea is not just a bowl. It's like a bowl with like a little divot in it, and or not a divot, but I guess it would be a divot because it'd be facing down anyway. And so a Rose K lens has a little bump carved out of the inside of it so that it can fit over top of that. It's so it can ride closer to your lens, to your cornea, and that way it can actually make a more accurate correction. But that does mean that they're more expensive, and anyway, I'll work that out. Not worried. Just got to do that. But it does mean that you don't buy once a days. That's not what these are. They have to be, they're machined in like multiple places in the world, and that's not many. One of them, in fact, one of the labs where they did it was in Edmonton, and it was only like a couple blocks away from where my optician, who I visited, the lab was only 2 blocks away from them. So I actually went to pick them up one time directly from the lab because they had to make a modification to them. And they're complicated. They're cut in such a way that they're heavier on one side than not, as what they call a toric. It's so that the thing can actually, when you blink, a contact lens spins in your eyes. Every time you blink, it moves slightly. And what this does is after you blink, and the blink kicks it a little bit up to the side, you can then, if I just wait a second and keep my eye open, I can actually feel it settling back down where it's supposed to be. So if you like feeling things moving around your eyeball, let's talk to Crafty. A heavy scent buffets your senses. The scent of pure, unadulterated book. Woody, musky, dusty. The light herbal incense from before seems like an afterthought in the wake of paper smell. Looking around, you see the shopkeeper has abandoned her earlier feeble attempts of organizing the texts. Several of the towers of books are now reduced to piles on the ground. A piece of paper caught somehow in a ceiling rafter rustles gently above you. Crafty, you in? You hear a shuffling of papers. An arm rolls out from under a pile of blankets and books. Crafty raises her head. A notebook spread open on top of it. The book topples to the floor. Oh, hey! Her voice cracks. Crafty clears her throat with a cough and stumbles out of her pile. Her voice is clear when she speaks again. Sorry about the mess. I was up all night reading, or rather, up every night reading. She stretches. You look dog-tired. You feeling all right? Crafty lets out a single sharp laugh. I've been better, if that's what you mean. Going through these notebooks has been hard, not just because of the sheer amount of information. It's been a nostalgic ride, too. Why don't you take a break? No way, I've dug myself too deep to back out now, and I don't say that as a bad thing. I've made progress. I'm proud of that. She leans in a book-covered chair. The sooner I figure out these dreams, the sooner I can rest. And trust me, Beej, I'll make up for it in spades and naps. Just don't work yourself to death. That wouldn't achieve much, would it? And it isn't all bad. These journals are just as exciting as they are laborious. So what's the latest? The latest. She walks over to a glass table and starts tossing books off of it. As she digs through them, you realize the table's not actually a table, but a glass display case full of dried medicinal ingredients. Crafty withdraws a notebook from the file. Its binding unraveling, the pages holding on for dear life. Here we go. This one's loaded. With what? Got a couple big finds. Mom's notes are a mess as I boiled them down to the most important information. An exorcism and the Yama Kings. Where do you want to start? I should probably also explain that I can't just take them out and clean them and put them back in my eyes immediately. Like, I have to take them out and then clean them, but then when I put them back, I have to wait a minute or so for them to try to calm down. And also because there's a lot of stuff in your eye. Your tears are an amazing amalgam of stuff. There are proteins, there are lipids, oils, and then there's saline itself. So there's a liquid, medium, and also then, salts and whatever else. And all this stuff is useful. So it's all needed. The problem is that when you have contact lenses, you tend not to blink as often, which means your eyes dry out a little bit. And that will also mean that the tears dry a little bit, and you'll get protein, and protein deposits will catch on the plastic of the lens. And because think about how small everything is, eventually the plastic of the lens gets kind of mucked up and worn over time, and then turns into little places for stuff to adhere to. And then you get protein deposits building up, and then you use cleaners to get that stuff off. And yeah, the lubricating solutions and cleaners are designed to clean that. But generally, I'd have to be putting drops in my eyes like every 30 minutes, it feels like, in order to actually get like good relief. So you deal. And you get to a point where it's like, whatever's, it's getting to a point, you got to take them out now, and you actually got to clean them a little bit, and then put them back in your eye, and you're good for another few hours. And that's just because these are old as well. They're not fitting as well as they used to. So when I get new ones, they'll be great, and I probably won't have to worry about them as much for as long. But I have to get them polished every 3 months. So, I figure it is really interesting to hear about the eye stuff. Oh, that reminds me. I have to go put stuff on my hands, actually. Hang on a second. Sorry. Yeah, because I also have to clean my hands very well. It means that I strip all the oil out of my skin. So I end up with very dry hands, and I have to re-moisturize my hands. And I forgot to do that before I came back from break. So anyway. You want to know something very interesting that I never think about, but when you think about it, it'll freak you the hell out. You have a hole in your eye. You have a big hole in your eye that, fortunately, the iris does its job like an iris on a camera. That's why they call it that. The iris of the camera opens and closes just like the iris on your eye opens and closes to cover that hole, an actual hole in your eye. If you took the cornea off your eye, there's a hole there. That black thing is a hole, and you never really think about that. And I never really think about it either. And it's scary as hell when you think about it. It's like, holy shit, that's not just a black spot. That's my retina. You're looking inside someone's eye. Inside it. And, you know, because like, oh, that's the retina. And it's like, yeah, that's the retina. Your pupil is like, but your pupil's not the retina. The pupil's the hole that shows you the retina on the back of your, it's like, oh, Jesus. So, yeah. When I think about stuff like that, I'm just like, ah! Anyway, let's go about the exorcism. She flips through the notebook and after locating the right page, lays the book on the counter. Her index finger glides across the notes as she summarizes the contents. On one of Mom's trips to the walled city, she decided to check out an archway, an old crumbling relic that the residents believed to be haunted. Oh yes, this. Mom wasn't sure about the hauntings, but after entering the area, she immediately felt it was a place of concentrated chi. Oh, somebody mentioned the same arch. She's from the walled city. Crafty looks up in the notebook. I believe that. It's a fairly prominent landmark. Seems to me most people in the walled city would have heard of it, if not seen it. What'd she say? That's stupid. That's not me. Nothing good. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. At least from what my mother wrote, it was a seriously bad. Go on. The chi wasn't like your standard run-of-the-mill energy. Even for the walled city, this chi was exceptionally dark, and it all seemed to gravitate toward the arch. So she did what any kook of her magic brand would try: a Taoist exorcism. How did that go? It went to hell. The exorcism failed, and something happened to her. She broke. Crafty takes a deep breath through her nose. My mother had entered the city strong, confident, and capable, but when she left that day, it's hard to explain. It's as if the experience left her vulnerable to those base horrors within the walled city. She grew paranoid and became frail of mind and body, a mere shadow of her former self. It's as if she'd witnessed something, and it changed her. She became more obsessed than ever, and that's how I remember her now, as that broken woman. Not sure how this fits into our investigation, but if that sort of malevolence is coursing through the walled city, it's no wonder the people who live there experience such terrible dreams. Well, I'd like to know about the Yama Kings. Sorry, gotta blink again. I'm staring at chat while I do that. ASDDSA 28 says, yeah, when you have cataracts, you can get a new lens. That's an option. They can put in a new lens. Basically a donation of somebody else's lens. That is been explored as an option for my problem as well, is that maybe there's a chance at some point that if my prescription I have keratoconus apparently, or I have all the clinical signs, which essentially means I guess I have keratoconus, where your cornea stops being a bowl and it turns into a cone. But anyway, they'd have to replace my cornea, and they don't do that when you're like 20 or 30 years old, because they're like, no, that's a lot of damage we're doing. Wait until you're a lot older and having other eye problems, and then maybe we'll be like, yeah, time to replace your cornea, and then you can see better. But you'll still probably need contact lenses, or you'll need glasses, or you'll need something else by that point. It's like, so yeah, a lot of, oh yeah, Amaralingua even asks, what's your problem? It's like, that's like, is it too personal to ask? It's like, it isn't personal to ask. It's, I think, more people who need to know about those things, because it's like, well, I've always had a problem. It's like, you should go see an ophthalmologist, or go see an optometrist rather, and have them assess the issue and see if you have to go see an ophthalmologist, and maybe that is an issue. I mean, you should always get, when you're getting like contact lenses, you should be worried about fit, and you should talk to people who know how to do fit. And that's maybe not easy to do in every neck of the woods, but like everywhere else in the world. But if you can, I recommend trying to find people who are expert at it, because I got fit by somebody who'd been doing it for 30 or 40 years. He's very good at what he did, probably 30 years at the point that I did it. And he's very good, and he was able to find me options that worked, and that's why I use what I use. So Yeah, can't get LASIK either because that just, that's shaving your cornea into the correct shape. And since my cornea's looks like a mountain range, it doesn't look like a bowl really. It just has like peaks and valleys in the weirdest spots. If you try to shave that, the laser could refract, and it could refract into the back of my eye, is my understanding. They're like, it's not safe to do LASIK on you. So, yeah, replacement eyes would be a hell of a thing. I'm scared shitless about the idea of getting an eye replaced, but if it was possible to do it, it's like something that I'm like, well, that could be a really interesting idea. But anyway. Okay, I think we're better now. Crafty turns a page marked with a red sticky note. She looks up at you. Tell me, how much do you know about the Yama Kings? Only what I've heard here and there, maybe? Yeah, that's probably okay. Personally, I only heard about the Yama Kings and fables and myths, things to scare children to sleep, to inspire awe. As you can guess, intimate knowledge about imaginary beings is largely non-existent. And here, taps the page, we've found the demons of the walled city. Through my mother's excursions into the slum, she came to learn that its residents had their own unique Yama Kings, different from the traditional ones. The people there are segregated from the rest of Hong Kong. Over time, they came to believe that their home was possessed by local demons. Makes sense, considering the place's penchant for crime and disaster. Do their Yama Kings have names? There were 3 that Mom knew of: Lam Vai, Fu Mang, and Tian Ya. We've heard of Tian Ya, didn't we? Each Yama King is associated with the negative energy on which they feed. Lam Vai feeds from cowards, Fu Mang from the guilty, and Tian Ya, slaves. Unfortunately, my mother's handwriting declined with her sanity. She rubs her forehead in frustration. She had a lot of details in here about those local Yama Kings, but I could only make out bits and parts. There's a list, something here about mouth twists sideways and her eyes squint, straining to read the notes. Rules? Maybe laws of some sort. The thing that stood out to me is here. She pops a finger on the page. Excuse me. It's about the propriety surrounding ownership and deals, exchanges, negotiations, luncheons. No, that last part can't be right. Anyway, it says the Yama Kings under rules or laws must adhere to the terms of a deal. And there's something else, but she sighs and flips the paper onto the counter. Nope. Sorry, can't read anything past that. You know, it's strange to me that Mom found these mystical beings significant enough to mention in her documents. It makes me wonder if she thought they were real or connected to the curse that she believed in. A thump, and Crafty closes the notebook. She casually tosses it back into the display case. It's not the best lead, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Agreed. More talkie-talkie? Can you send me a copy? Oh yeah, back so soon. Tell me what you need and I'll see what I can do. Well, then, the notes. Crafty taps her fingers to her nose. Already a step ahead of you. Just finished digitally transcribing the information. I'll send it your way. She looks around the book-covered shop as soon as I find my terminal. That'll be great. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Expect them soon. Oh, well, let's see what you're selling. Anything interesting now? Right. Acid Bolt 3 is available. I'm still using Acid Bolt 2, and that's fine. Let's look at Conjuring here. Mana Static. Right. I haven't done any Conjuring stuff because I don't have the Conjuring levels for most things. So we're still using lower-level stuff. I could take Slow 2 if I wanted to. Fog. Consumables. That Spirit Fetish is awesome, but it's just a, yeah. I don't think I need anything else from here at the moment. Yes, yes, yes. Exit. Exit. I'll let you get back to it. Sounds like a plan. See you soon. All right. Mysterious elf. Mysterious elf. Oh, wait. I remember you. This austere, refined-looking elf is browsing the shop's collection of talisma, herbs, and crystals. Noting your approach, he turns to face you. Good evening, my friend. I hope it's been a pleasant one. I'm not giving him a voice, but I might end up giving him a voice. It's been pretty good so far. You? The elf cocks his head, considering the question. I have definitely had worse nights, without a doubt. as I suspect I have many who live here in Heoi. One need only look to the walled city to see how far into misery and squalor one can fall. My name is Algernon Halfdream, and it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Yes! He's in Dragonfall. Algernon does not extend his hand, but he does incline his head politely. It's not quite a bow, but almost. You don't sound like a local. You don't sound like a local. No, I am not, I admit, though I've been to Hong Kong many times in the past. I was acquainted with Meow's mother, Eleanor. Right, Meow's her name. Algernon spares a moment to survey the shop. I must say it's been kept in wonderful condition, if not improved somewhat. Where are you originally from? I've been traveling my entire life and rarely stay in one locale for long. I consider nowhere and everywhere my home. When you speak as many languages as I do, it's inevitable that they begin to bleed together, though I've always had a particular fondness for Cantonese. It has a lyrical quality few other languages can match. You've been in the walled city? Right, he's in returns, right. No. There's a leaden finality to Algernon's tone. He pauses for a moment before elaborating. I've looked around outside and spoken to some residents who trade at the edge, but I have not entered it. The misery and hopelessness of those within it is overwhelming, and I would prefer not to venture too near such a well of negativity. But those emotions have colored and warped astral space in a unique fashion, one that I felt was worth studying, albeit from afar. He shakes his head sadly. Such a waste of human potential. To think of all the ways the world and fate have failed those people. Yes. Agreed. You've got some interesting eyes, Algernon. Do I? I've never really thought about them, to tell you the truth. They allow me to see, and there our relationship ends. Surely there must be many people in Hay with interesting eyes. Cyber surgery is so common these days as to be almost routine. Most people's eyes don't glow, Algernon. I suppose that's true, but there are so many inexplicable quirks of genetics in this post-awakening world. Birds that summon lightning, dogs that breathe fire, cats that transform into lions. Glowing eyes seem a small thing taken in comparison to all of those. Are you a mage or a shaman? Makes you think I'm either of them. Perhaps I'm simply an inquisitive soul. Algernon smiles, and it gestures towards the racks of magical accessories on the wall. Of course, a merely inquisitive soul would not be interested in purchasing any of this. Perhaps I am both, or neither. The nature of magic is fluid, and especially in these tumultuous times, so soon after the dragons have awoken, too many people try to draw binary divisions between methods of thaumaturgy. At the heart of things, there is will, there is power, and there is change. See you later. Safe travels, my friend. Oh god, I hope we see him later. Has got anything else to say? Nope. I'm gonna do subs at the end, by the way. Okay, we can get out of here. I love his design so much, and like, yeah, I just think he has like a great, interesting design. He's definitely like, you know, that enigmatic kind of character that you're, you know, I want to know more about, but... Alright, let's go to the safe boat. Let's talk with everybody about the raid. Aha! You enter the trawler to find your crew gathered together waiting for you. Isabel's your head of buried in her PDA. Rest them, stand watching her, trying to be patient. What's going on? Isabel paces up and back, trying to decide how to begin. I've been doing my homework on Josephine Sang and Sang Mechanical Services. Your pacing tells me you found something. Oh yeah, I found something all right. Isabel lifts her PDA to her face and consults her notes. In 2011, Sang Mechanical Services was a D-level corp floundering the shallow end of the Hong Kong corporate pool. That's when Josephine Shui married into the family. Josephine thought big. She conceived of a massive project that would catapult TMS into big times, and she called the Prosperity Project. Prosperity, that's what Raymond was mumbling about. What's the Prosperity Project? Once upon a time in the 1900s, the walled city was a densely populated slum. Something like 30,000 people crammed into 6.5 acres. I've heard this story before. It's a shithole. Hell on earth, yada, yada, yada. That's today's walled city, the second walled city. The first walled city started life well over 100 years ago and lasted through both world wars and almost through to the Awakening. It was torn down in 1994 when the government had finally had enough because it had become such a haven for criminals that the cops would only enter it in large, well-armed groups. Gobbet sounds familiar. Isabel. In 2021, Joseph Tsang proposed a vision for a new type of low-income housing project, the Prosperity Project, a self-contained low-cost walking neighborhood for the poor, but on a grand scale. The Prosperity Project would give Hong Kong's poor and the flood of refugees pouring into the country a place they could call their own, something that felt more permanent than the sprawling tent city that was spontaneously sprang up after the first walled city was demolished. Interesting, that. The Prosperity Project would replace the tent city and would be symbolically built on the site of the old walled city. The slogan was, "A place of dignity where prosperity begins." Wow. The apartments weren't much bigger than the space you'd get in your average coffin motel, but they were built around plazas and marketplaces that contained goods and services catering to the poor. The government forgot the lessons of the last walled city. They loved the idea of containing the refugees and the poor to only a few densely populated blocks. It kept them out of the public eye. Securing the contract catapulted Tsang Mechanical Services' fortunes ahead. It eventually put Josephine Tsang onto the executive council. Doesn't line up. How did she get so powerful by building a slum? It's a very big slum. Apparently that was also the beginning of a series of lucrative building contracts that propelled TMS into the big time. Duncan, where's Raymond come into all this? Isabel, Raymond Black doesn't come into it at all. But Edward Tsang does. Is Raymond Black actually Edward Tsang? You got it. Duncan's jaw drops open. What? No, come on. Raymond Black was actually Edward Tsang, the only son of Josephine Tsang and her late husband, Breakwater Tsang. Edward was in charge of laying the groundwork for the walled city, excavation utilities, running in power lines, sewage, that kind of thing. So secret foster grandmother is trying to kill us? My name is Breakwater. It seems like not the unimportant thing to ask, but still, I really want to know about it. Just wonder where Raymond's money came from. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Remember that massive greywater leaked the flood basement back in 48? We got back from that camping trip in the Salish. Ray screamed bloody murder about that. Wu nods, smiling. I never seen him so angry. He sobers. But did Raymond know how to fix it? No. Ray didn't know the first thing about sewer lines. He hired a small army of plumbers, probably paid him double what the job was worth to fix the thing. It still took almost 2 months to get the leak under control. Did Josephine put him in charge of the utilities? No wonder the walled city smells like that. Isabel, I don't think Raymond had anything to do with the utilities in the walled city. Ractor, so if this man was not in charge of the utilities for the project, what was he doing down there? Isabel, I don't know, but Edward Tsang disappeared from the public eye shortly after Prosperity was completed, around 2031. Duncan, that's about the time he moved to Seattle, around 7 years before he found us. Gobbett, but what happened in the walled city? Duncan, and what would make Raymond want to go back in there now after all these years? I don't know, but I intend to find out. I mean, I do. Ah! Hang on. How close are we now? 31! Oh! Need 2 more! And we can take everything at that point. Alright. Let's get paid. Blinking message up, right? Have 4 unread messages. Well, let's get to those in a second. Open jobs, get paid. Claim payment for the Wuxing sabotage run. Message popped on the screen from Kylie Ching to Beige. A little bird whispered in my ear that Wuxing's fortunes are already falling. Their stock value dropped by 2% already. The client finds this to be an acceptable indication of your success and has forwarded payment. I've attached your cut to this email. I missed how much it was. Did anyone see it go by? Yeah, if I take 33, then I'll get... Oh, it's 2,200, nice. Any reason not to take the 2 levels right now? Because I don't know what the next etiquette is that I need to pull that might come in handy on a run. So I want to just wait on that. Because then if I don't get any karma in the meantime, then I can pick an etiquette that works based on, and I have to roll back to a save obviously, but then pick an etiquette that works. But if I get 2 more karma in the meantime, then I can just go and then take both of them and be like, we're done. Now let's concentrate on that and just move on from there. Oh my goodness. having some terrible acid reflux. Please give me a second. I'm gonna go grab a Tums to see if I can help that commercial break very quickly. Oh. I ate a lot of sushi today. Well, I had a thing of spicy salmon sushi, and then I had takoyaki, and it was great. And then that fruit sandwich. So, I don't know how good any of that's for my body, but it's chill. Okay. Check your inbox. 4 messages. Mother's notes. And there they are. From Crafty Zhu. Zhu. Crafty Zhu. Mother's notes. Hey, Beach, here are those notes you asked for, but before you dive in, a heads up. They're a complete transcription of that list from Mother's journal. As it is, they're the thoughts and ramblings of an insane woman. It's not an easy read. Another dream. This time a near figure, a shadow, a wraith, a faceless. I heard its voice, though it did not speak. And when I awoke, it was inside my home, though I'd been in the city just moments before. Where am I? A weight dropped into me. I felt the words of the wraith in my skin and the tips of my hair. I saw its mouth in my mind's eye. Rows and rows and rows of lies. Morning. My hand was to the paper before I even knew I was writing. It wrote the words, these words, they cannot lie. I added it to my list. Evening. Was it a king I saw? Was I really there? I was in the city, I'm sure of it. Then how did I end up here? Was I carried back? My list is growing. Soon with this knowledge I will stop the kings. A step forward is a step backward. A step backward is a step forward. Each wraith has a name, a true name and a false name. Knowing their true name is knowing their weakness. To call them on their lies is to make yourself invincible. They will still try to eat you. Alright. They fear the feathers of unborn chicks. Kings must be one or the other, that is, of the negative world or positive, but positive doesn't necessarily make them good, nor negative make them bad. They simply are. Once a deal is brokered, it cannot be unmade. Kings and the planets are closely connected. When nearest the sun, their power wanes. When farthest, it grows. There's only one wraith. There's only one wraith. There may be 2 wraiths, but there's most certainly only one wraith. They must follow the laws of the universe, rules set in motion long ago. Should they concede defeat, all is lost to them. Kings are the rulers of us all. They take from us their lifeblood, and with it parts of our souls. Do not give them what they seek, and you will be their match. They cannot lie. Morning. I made breakfast. It fell on the floor in the shape of my death. Another truth revealed to me. I added it to my list. It's all or nothing. They are all liars. Another dream. It was in white space. I could taste the color as if it were air. This time, no voice, just rows and rows and rows. And rows and rows and rows and rows and rows. A mess, I know. There's not a lot of holes. There's not a whole lot of significant material other than what I've already picked out, but even that is contradicted within Mom's notes. Everything should be taken with a grain of salt. Meantime, I'll keep looking into it. Good luck on your end, Crafty. Out of town. Oh. Kindly Chang. I'm not in Hayway right now, so don't bother coming to see me. We'll talk when I return. Please continue with our business ventures in the meantime. Auntie C. And data retrieval. From Kindly Chang. Subject data retrieval. I hope you're enjoying your newfound success in the shadows. I've got another job for you, one that should prove very lucrative indeed. I've been contacted by an employee of the Eastern Tiger Corporation. He needs you to steal some research data and biological samples from his employer. Okay. The man's name is Tygath Wright. Until recently, he was a researcher on a genetic engineering project. He was cagey with the details, but I gather that it centered around phenotypic alteration and postnatal genetic enhancement. Unfortunately for Wright, he's got a conscience. Stupid man. Luckily for us, he's willing to pay to have his conscience assuaged. Wright's project was apparently quite horrible. Experiments on living children, total disregard for biomedical ethics or safety, and when Wright raised concerns, he was taken off the project. He's decided to step outside the bounds of the law and expose their wrongdoing to the world. You see, the snag you see is that his wife and child live in Seoul, not quite the heart of Eastern Tiger's power, but close enough. He's afraid that if he releases the information himself, they'll be taken prisoner and used as leverage. The idiot should have thought of that before, but it's not our problem. The samples and data are currently on an Eastern Tiger cargo ship, the NV Nalchi. Nalchi? Yeah. Sailing near Hong Kong on their way to Seoul. The storms slowed the ship down, so you don't have to go right away, but don't take too long. Once you have the data and samples, you're to call Wright. I've attached his number. He'll give you instructions on how he wants the information leaked. When you're ready, let me know. I'll arrange transit with Captain Jomo. He's a local Lohojo, a pirate and smuggler, but don't let that put you off. He's as good as they get, and he'll have you on the ship without incident. Yeah, I'll take that. Let Captain Joe know you're ready. You can find him down on the end of the pier. My parlor's on. He'll enter everything from there on out. Okay. Shadowland. Search BBS for... do I have any pay data? I don't think I do. Oh, I do. Wujing logistical data. That's right. We logged in and did that thing. Let's get the pay data. Search BBS. Ah. Typhoon stalled offshore. Update in Typhoon Usagi. Infrared images of the storm eye to wall transition are really quite stunning, by the way. White prism. Typhoon Usagi is stalled in the South China Sea. Is now weakening after passing north of the Philippines. Strong wind and periodic, very heavy rains will continue as Usagi's arms sweep across the region. I'm just picturing Sailor Moon for this. For the moment, Usagi is resisting the wind, which is causing it to lose strength. Prevailing winds will probably ultimately drive Usagi ashore west of Macau as it struggles to remain over water. According to Dr. Lansing Roki of the Imperial Japanese Meteorological Agency, even the most awakened storms have difficulty delaying their landfall for more than a week once they are in the South China Sea. Usagi would still be a full-strength typhoon when it makes landfall, but its delay fortunately gives people in the storm path more time to prepare. Look, babe, I just made this cartoonified typhoon for you. It's got a little purse and sparkles and bubble tea and 8 arms. There's assorted weapons and a necklace of skulls and everything. Amanita, you're the best, White Prism. The J-pop theme on the ammunition belts really takes it over the top, Amanita. You are a special person, Tungsten. Apparently I missed something in my messages. I have one unread message. Check my inbox for new messages. I have one unread message. Old messages? Well, I don't know where that other extra unread message is, but it sure ain't there. Go back to the BBS. Actually, you know what we can do? Walk away. Log in again. Check. No. Anyone else have that happen to them before who's played this game? Love to hear about it. Oh, it's Sang Mechanical Services, a rising star. Has anyone else been keeping track of the Executive Council elections? It's almost time for the latest round. The competition is heating up. Up until this point, Tantian CEO Sao Kok Chu looked like the best pick to replace Josephine Sang of Sang Mechanical Services. Despite Wujing CEO Kent Zuling's rivalry with Chu, he's had the support of both Yang Lin Fat of Shibata and Adrian Chung of Hildebrandt Kleinford Bernal. I have so I have a feeling what's happened here with the Prosperity Project is, especially to think about once you have a deal that cannot be undone, and I have a feeling that whatever deal that Josephine Sang worked out with probably did something to work out a deal with one of the Yama Kings, and that's why they had such a meteoric rise and why she still sits on the Executive Council. But we'll see. Oh, thank you, Richards. It's the second message from the magic shot from Crafty Zhu. We can't read the next message until a few missions later. It's waiting there. It's not supposed to be waiting there yet, but anyway. Now, though, I'm not so sure. Josephine Sang seems pretty confident she'll remain on the council. From what I've heard, she's got to deal with Ares Asia, Monobe, and Eastern Tiger to stay out of their way. In exchange, they'll let her own Southeast Asia's large-scale... They let her own Southeast Asia's large-scale construction projects. A cozy relationship like that could turn the tides against Tan Tien, the chromed accountant. Josephine Sang. Oh, that's her. Your screen flickers as a trade clip begins playing. Josephine Sang stands at the podium addressing a crowd of reporters in front of a partially constructed skyscraper. With the finalization permits approved for the Pak Tai Workers Complex here in Dongguan, I promise you that the prosperity of the city can only increase. This marks an auspicious day. Thousands of new jobs in construction, tens of thousands more when the project is complete, and low-cost housing for every worker. Some said Sang Mechanical Services does not have the will to compete in the global market. We are only a force to be reckoned with in Hong Kong, Africa, and South America. I say that our good fortune is your good fortune. Sang pounds the podium with a closed fist, nodding for emphasis. Sang Mechanical Services is more than a local company. Our star is rising and shows no sign of slowing. I asked the residents of Dongguan, who among you does not wish for a better life, a wealthier, happier life, one where your company is also your family, can protect you from this uncertainty in these trying times. We will give you that life. We will give you that protection and certainty. A little bit of crap. Blue shift. Maybe crap, but the people in Dongguan ate it up. The idea of signing with a local company that isn't Baihu, and believe me, they count Tantian and Wuxing as foreign, was too much of a draw for them to pass on. I'm thinking that absent catastrophe, Josephine Tsang will be in the executive council in the next few days. Their chromed accountant. Why did they count Wuxing as foreign? Tantian, sure, they're headquartered in Beijing. But Wuxing's just as named to Hong Kong as Tsang is. Trauma Hound. Wuxing and the Canton Confederation have been at odds since 2015. Wuxing's made a habit of exploiting the people of Guangdong and using loopholes to shield themselves from taxation. What's more, Wuxing was the primary mover in founding the Free Enterprise Zone, permanently stopping the Confederation's designs on Hong Kong, the chromed accountant. Tsang took a different tactic. Josephine Tsang started out by promising the Canton Confederation a very lucrative taxation agreement in exchange for a low-cost, long-term lease for their facilities in Dongguan. She sweetened the deal by treating them like family rather than adversaries. She's got them eating out of her hand, the chromed accountant. Interesting. Punk metal hardcore. Got a collection of over 10,000 albums of punk, hardcore, light, thrash metal, heavy metal, light metal, death metal, metal nouveau, sinopunk, synth punk, cyber thrash, synthcore, Hong Kong ska, and triple umlaut bands like Umlaut. Rock Collector. That's a great post. If there's an album you've been searching for, I might just have it. In return, I'm in search of any weird obscure bands to add to my library. Let me know. Rock Collector. Got any cybercore synth metal? As for what might interest you, I own the complete oeuvre of this German punk band, Messerkampf. Ever heard of them? Puxterama. Messerkampf? They're so mainstream. They're really big in the JIS, Beta Town. Really? Do they tour? Puxterama. Nah, man, I don't think so. Those Berlin anarchist bands never survive very long. Besides, I think they broke up a really long time ago. They're probably aging wage slaves now and have no idea they're wildly popular on the other side of the planet. Rock Collector. Looking for Decker. Oh, good. This again. Looking for experienced Decker for a discreet milk run, picking up a very special access card off a wage slave. Potential for a longer-term arrangement. Routine's been together for years, running your basic heist and occasional transport gig. We like a reliable fixer and a long list of happy clients. Requirements: you must not take experimental stims during runs. You must not tamper with chemicals in secret labs. You must have a good sense of humor. Give me some Nguyen 88. Knock, knock, in extremis. Give me some Nguyen. You said a good sense of humor. It's a joke, see? In extremis. At this point, we're actually more interested in hiring an experienced professional with mature adults' impulse control. We've had some bad luck with our Deckers lately. The last one had 2 left feet and couldn't seem to stop stumbling into containers full of volatile substances. Give me some Nguyen 888. Poor Runs with Sisters 2056. Although by looking at her name, I guess we should have known. Captain Scope. So basically, you guys are desperate for a Decker. Has anyone else contacted you? In extremis. We can wait a little longer. Give me some Nguyen 88. Meet me. You guys are starting to get a bad rap, you know? Jinxed. In extremis. We're sunk. All of us. Swim. As some of you know, I have a keen interest in urban planning, geophysics, and anything involving our eventual and inevitable destruction. Appended is a recent summary of rising sea level in Hong Kong. It expresses the issue well in lay terms. Freedom Cowboy, you complain my post titles are a bit sterile. How's this one? White Prism. Article mirrored the sinking of Hong Kong. From HK Newswire, Hong Kong's watery future. Images and external links redacted. The Joint Corporate Development Bureau has released a report on sea level rise in Hong Kong over the next 50 years. Since the year 2000, Hong Kong has experienced 9 to 13 meters of water level rise, varying by location. Whew. Geologists cite a combination of Antarctic ice melting, the natural sinking of Hong Kong's artificial shorefronts, and forced subsidence caused by massive urban construction. Read more feature of the city. Geologists predict a continued rise in water levels over the next 50 years, with slowing land subsidence being offset by the accelerating collapse of the Antarctic ice sheet. Quoting from government geologist Dr. Ao Mingjia, with up to 50 meters of subsidence expected over the next half century, a large fraction of current Hong Kong will become submarine. Due to our population and small land base, abandonment of flooded land is no longer practical. Rigorous amphibious retrofitting of the city will need to continue. By 2100, the current coastal buildings will mostly rise from a canal environment. Focus on engineering to protect Hong Kong. Engineering studies indicate that major improvements will be necessary on the coastal seawalls and on Victoria Harbor's Girang Wall, eventually the anti-typhoon automated harbor defense jetty. Coastal protections will need to be raised by 0.5 meter per year to counteract the total effect of rising sea level and worsening severity of super typhoons. The Development Bureau estimates this may cost 250 billion Nguyen over the next 5 decades. Climatic models suggest that by 2100, storm surges impinging on Hong Kong shores may exceed 3 meters in height, and wind-driven waves during severe storms may reach 15 meters. End of article. White Prism. So we're going to be running jobs from gondolas in 50 years? That's the message? Give me some new. When one does some simple financial modeling and extrapolates the worsening severity and frequency of super typhoons along with the geological outlook, the actual message is that it may be necessary to abandon Hong Kong. White Prism. White Prism, I take it back. Keep your sterile titles. What's so endearing about you is that you talk about the grimmest things like an accountant. Thank you, Freedom Cowboy. Double entry accrual accounting is an amazing system. If only more operators took an interest in it, they would have much better long-term financial security, as well as be better able to interpret and manipulate materials encountered during their work. Right, Prism. Yeah, double entry accounting is rad. It's pretty ironic that your handle shortens to WP, most normally associated with white phosphorus. Hatch. Actually, Hatch, it's not. It's really not. Freedom Cowboy. White phosphorus is exceptionally useful, not merely because of its hypergolic ignition and the fact that once burning is chemically immune to water quenching, but also because of its high adhesion and biotoxicity. I don't take pleasure in these qualities, but I appreciate them. Thanks, White Prism. And we need a rigger dock. Accessing BBS archives. Please wait. Anybody get work done by an expat named Bleh? He's rigs dockware out in Bleh, but I hear he's better than most auto docks. Hatch. Post-deleted Hatch. Read the rules, everyone. No calling out personal specifics or addresses of potentially active operators. Keep it to handles, generalities, and city sectors. At least 9 corporate bots are crawling the Haven as we speak. White Prism. He's a real deal, yo. He's solid. He's in with us. Tin Helmet. I'm sick of saying, if anyone who gets Chrome installed by some hack running dockware in a converted restroom deserves the horrible nerve degeneration they'll die from. You guys, those guys saw you up. You'll pay for it. Slottable dockware can't replace a real surgeon. Period. The tech isn't there yet. Vanisher. I've scoped out the doc in question. I'm gonna have to rain on your party, Hath. He's basically a family doc who moonlights doing basic cyber. Nice guy, but he's no hitter. Just a big bullshitter. Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx, you don't know shit. Tin Helmet. No, we're posting this thread. Alright. Several jobs, I think. Sorry. That's not what I wanted to do either. Jobs directory, active jobs. We do have 4 waiting. Yes, oh, that restaurant job, that's right. All right, time to talk to my team, starting with Raktor and Gaichu. Please, my friend, not now. Right, so you want to do the Ares Asia Holdings thing. I have to do that at some point so we can do whatever's coming next, I guess. Oh, here's a box of mementos. Let's talk to Gaichu. Cabin is in a far better state than it was previously. The heat has been adjusted down, the ventilation restored. Boxes of junk and parts have been stacked and neatly arranged, and Gaichu's small amount of personal gear is tucked away in a corner. There is a small mat in the center of the cabin. Looks like it doubles as both a rug and a sleeping pad. Gaichu seated in Lowe's position, eyes closed. His fingertips rest on a braille reader that is plugged into his PDA. The device fills the room with a soft clicking from the pin combinations. As you approach, he lifts his hands from the reader's surface. Hello again, Beach. Is there something I can assist you with? Looks like you carved a nice little spot here. If you say so, I doubt it would be suitable for others, but I don't require much by the way of space and have few possessions. So long as I have a quiet area in which I can sit and relax, I'm happy. What do you wish to discuss? He didn't come on that last run, but I'll ask anyway. What were you reading? Draws himself up, folding his palms in his lap. With one toe, he pushes the braille reader away. It is called Hagakure, Hidden Leaves, written by Yamamoto Tsunetomo, and is a treatise on what it means to be a samurai and how one should best serve one's lord. Required reading for the Red Samurai, unsurprisingly. Looking for hidden meaning? I have it memorized, but sometimes I have found that reading the words reveals new meanings, yes. I may have left my old life behind, but old habits are the hardest to shake. The author has a central thesis. Where there is a question of life or death, always choose death. Throw oneself into the fray with no resignations and act on instinct alone. The current state of affairs speaks the truth of this more robustly than any lesson in a dojo. That's not too different from life in Redmond Barrens. I don't know. That sounds more like a survival thing. What's the rest of the book about? Gaichu takes off points by unfurling successive fingers. It is partly a manual for proper behavior towards one's lord, partly a rumination on the mindset required to be victorious in combat, and partly a collection of stories. Lots of academic here. Damn. Tsunetomo believed that to truly embody the virtues of the samurai, adherents should be mindful of their path at all times, never stop training, always question how one's actions reflect on their lord. Above all, be prepared to do your duty instinctively at all time, no matter what the cost. Sounds like a dangerous path to walk. I'm certain it is, but what choice do I have? Without a cure for my condition, all that I am able to do is embrace the reality of what I've become. It does not seem like much of a choice at all to me. What does he say about Master Samurai like you? 7 times down, 8 times up. Skaichi smiles thinly, wrapping a claw on the hilt of his sword. More specifically, if a samurai has not been a ronin at least 7 times, then he has not truly lived as a samurai. Wow. Those were different times, however. It was common for samurai to fall out of favor with their lord and be turned loose to wander. For company men like myself, the choice is serve or die. Anything else? What's it like to be a ghoul? Skaichi cocks his head at you, his milky eyes narrowing mirthfully. Preparing for the eventuality of killing me and collecting the bounty? Make sure you leave my face intact. I would prefer to be a well-preserved trophy. Don't worry, I have it stuffed and mounted on my wall. Sure. Kaichu bares his teeth in a rictus grin. You can hear a faint chuckle rumble in the back of his throat. Now that would be an illustrious end to my career. A severed head decorating a leaking wreck of a boat, home to extremely private individuals who will never show me off. Couldn't you sell to a museum or something of that sort? Kaichu grows seriously leaning back. If you wish to know what it's like to be me asking away, I see no reason to conceal the details of my condition. Or I, apparently. You eat people, what's that like? Kaichu blinks a few times, cocks his head to stare at the ceiling. What is it like to eat anything else, or diabetic to take insulin? It's like that, a fact of life. I have found that most people are revolted by the concept of eating the flesh of humans, rather than the act itself. Taking in isolation of social concerns, humans are no more or less edible than most mammals. The flesh can be of poor or high quality, depending on all the factors you would expect, diet, lifestyle, etc. I prefer to prepare my meals as I would sashimi, light garnish and flavoring with an emphasis on the taste of the base meat. Do I enjoy it? No, not especially. Some Japanese are fond of pork and chicken sashimi, but I've never been one of them. Kaichu shrugs helplessly. But as a fact I must accept, and if it is how things will be, I will make the best of it. Do you feel bad about having to eat people? No, but I was never a vegetarian, so why should I? Kaichu seems puzzled by the question as if he's missing nuances or meaning. It does not matter where the meat comes from. Someone who died in a car accident is as viable as someone I kill. I admit I've eaten people that I've killed, but that was of necessity. I was going to kill them anyway. Why let their bodies go to waste? Why don't you smell like rotting meat? Diet and cleanliness. Most ghouls eat rotting flesh and do not bathe. I eat fresh meat and bathe regularly. Are you immortal? Considering his Gaichu leans over onto one elbow. I have no idea. I do not believe there have been any organized studies of ghoul longevity. Most strains of the human meta-human vampiric virus impart a semblance of extended life, but I do not believe that the Krieger strain is one. Somehow, I think it is more likely that I will die in combat than of old age, no matter how long I live. It'd be interesting to ask a doctor. To what end? I live by the sword and I will die by it. I have no illusions about my chances of growing old. Kaichu shakes his head in dismissal. How would I live out my days? In a rural country village eating people who happen to expire on nearby roads? That will not be my fate. What's the deal with your teeth? What deal are you referring to? Did you file them down into those points? No, they're actually new teeth created by the infection. I suppose it is a natural advantage to have teeth better suited for carnivorous pursuits. So, the infection causes your body to grow new teeth and push out the old ones, which is interesting. There's something about how the virus works that it's like, oh, you know what we need to do here is we need to grow newer teeth that's more suited to our needs, I guess. Anyway, let's talk about something else. We were talking about your father bailing you out of jail. Ah, yes, I do recall you asking about that. Kaichu's reticence is palpable in the long silence that follows. He does not continue. Is something the matter? No, Kaichu purses his lip and sighs heavily. No, everything is fine. I will tell you what you wish to know. I've simply not spoken to my family in a long time. Sounds like you may not have gotten along. Not when I was younger, no, but we came to an understanding eventually. It simply took some time to get there. Longer than he would have liked, I suspect. Yasujiro gave me an ultimatum after my run-in with Shiawase security. He told me that he had cut a backroom deal with a rival in Shiawase to keep me out of prison. The charges would be suspended if I finished high school and studied at Kyoto University with the intent of joining Renraku. If I did not, Shiawase would take me into custody and I would spend time in prison. What did that cost him? I have no idea. He refused to reveal what he had been forced to do in exchange, but I cannot imagine it was cheap. Insider information, perhaps? A deliberately botched contract? Yasujiro was a manager in the water and power division, so the deal would have been lucrative but not secret. I've always taken my family for granted. Raised in a Renraku family, going to Renraku schools. I always had a sense of place, of belonging where I was. The thought of all of that vanishing, I simply could not imagine it. Suddenly, the reality of my actions became clear. Gaichi runs his fingers over his bald scalp, smiling distantly. From then on, I tried to be the son he wanted, and he seemed glad of it. We grew much closer over the next few years. He took time off to visit me when I was living in Kyoto. Well, that'd be unusual. He was a very busy man in those days. A lot of responsibility and very little time for himself. I was impressed that he could carve off as much time as he did just to go camping with his son. A lot of nice wilderness in that part of Japan, I bet. Very much so. The land around Kyoto is protected from development due to historical and cultural significance. Most of the mountains are considered sacred, so the Diet declared them a national preserve. We made several trips to the area between Kyoto and Nara, around the village of Ide. We camped in the mountains above it. We would hunt wild deer and boar there using my father's antique arquebus. It's a strange choice of weapon. It's a choice of expediency. It is nearly impossible for a private citizen to own a firearm in Japan, which is why you so often read of Yakuza attacks involving swords and cleavers. As the Tanegashima that my family owns is from the 18th century, it is exempt from ordinary regulations. Gaichi chuckles softly to himself. Perhaps ironically, hunting with my father is how I learned to prepare raw meat. Strange to think that such activities served as training for my current state of affairs. So, how do you prepare it? Soak the meat in brine water and simmer at a low heat for several hours. Let it cool and repeat the process over several days. It cannot get too hot or I am unable to eat it. This process brings out the collagen in the meat. When it is done, I spice it with ginger and sansho pepper. Again, not too much. Mundane food is anathema to me. Sighing happily, Gaichu stares off in the distance. When he looks back, he smiles proudly at you. Those were good days. I am sorry I cannot come back to those times. When one joins the Red Samurai, one must give up all attachments to one's previous life. The company, the code, and the unit become the entirety of your world. Even your family ties have to be cut, especially those. Anything that could distract you from mission must be purged. Commitment to the unit and the company must be total. Applicants must be human, Japanese, and utterly devoted to Renraku. Your unit becomes your family. Your commander is your father and mother, your teammates, your siblings. Red Samurai are not allowed to reveal our identities and position to anyone outside the Special Operations Group. Even if we wanted friends outside the unit, we could not have them. Wait, so how'd you end up joining that? Ah, fair question. Given my youthful indiscretions, Gaichu leans back, his blind eyes turned towards the ceiling. Are you familiar with the Kempei Tai? What's that? The Kempei Tai are the political arm of the Japanese military. Much like the commissars of the Soviet Union, they're responsible for enforcing political and social orthodoxy. This is not just within the army, mind you. They also enforce certain laws with regards to the general populace. When I was enrolled in Kyoto University, I studied global security and political science. As the major generally used as a gateway to private security postings within both government and corporate militaries. I knew I wanted to fight. I was a young man and my blood was always up. One of the requirements was that students join the Youth Brigade Kempei Tai. The Youth Brigade is a lot like the ROTC in North America. The Young Falcons in the Sioux Nation, or the District Officer Program in the Republic of Korea. Members learn to be soldiers without actually joining an army. They perform community service and promote civic pride. Performance and prestige in the Kempei Tai used to dictate their later job opportunities, a bit like a good internship. To be a good fascist to get a good job. Did you enjoy it? Not at first. Later it became pleasant. Power is a heady thing, especially for a youth who has few superiors to answer to. We developed a sense of superiority over others and began to abuse our power. I believe that may have been part of the point. Surely they wanted to use your power responsibly. Quite the opposite. They wanted to engender those feelings of superiority and encourage the youth brigade to see themselves as above the common citizens. The state is above the individuals, and as instruments of the state, we were taught that we were as well. Wow. We did as we were taught, such as the way of authority on the young. Jesus. Gaichu shrugs it differently. What kind of things did you do? The details do not matter over much. Forced our way into homes under false pretenses to intimidate families. We encouraged children to inform on their parents, accepted bribes to look the other way if we were in the mood, or had people arrested for said bribery if we were not. Petty behavior, but such things were encouraged. When I was nearing graduation, I was approached by a recruiter with Renraku Security. She told me I came from a good family and could have a promising career with the company. She offered to fast-track my application towards a potential Red Samurai position, 3 years with the Renraku military as a junior officer, and guaranteed placement as a Red Samurai training billet of my choosing. The pay was good. The excitement of being an elite was an attractive proposition. I accepted, but I did not truly understand what I was signing up for. As I told you, they force you to give up everything except the company and unit. That was made clear to me, but I did not truly understand it. Oh. Did you regret your decision? On the whole, no, I do not know who I would have been had I not joined. Perhaps there are things that I miss, but regret is perpetual. One is always tempted to ask what if, but that is a trap. Gaichu wraps 2 knuckles on his breastplate. This is who I became. The armor was my protection and my identity. The training was extremely difficult, most physically and mentally and physically. I knew that I would be isolated from my old life, but I did not anticipate the full extent of that isolation. All Red Samurai recruits report to a facility called the Forge in Chiba. You're assigned a unit, you and 4 other recruits, and for the next 2 years, the Forge will be your home and prison. Shaking his head wistfully, Gaichu snorts. It seems ridiculous in retrospect. We were all so young. None of us had any idea what we were doing, except trying to become the best soldiers in the world, and yet those strangers became my new family in the absence of the old. Well, tell me about those people. Gaichu wrinkles his nose as if smelling something foul. That chapter of my life is over and done with, and they are no longer part of my world. Why would you care about any of that? He said became your surrogate family, that's important. Or... I mean, it is important. Make a wise point. Commanders should know their soldiers as well as they know themselves. Very well. Gaichu looks down at his hands, picking something out from beneath one claw. He continues to look at his hands while he speaks. When I was younger, I would have more readily cut off my fingers and tell you what you ask. You must understand that secrecy is absolute among the Red Samurai. Your identity becomes secret, erased from any database that might connect you to the Red Samurai. Use only your code name when in the field, and your given name is known only to your commanders in your unit. Even other Red Samurai units have no idea who you really are. Finally looking up from his hands, Gaichu leans back against the boxes. Contact with the outside world is cut off completely. Even once training is over, your communications are restricted. Maintaining relationships outside of those you work with is frowned upon. That's a lot of stress. What if they can't take it? Very few recruits get to this point if they cannot handle it. We all underwent stringent psychological tests prior to this point. If a recruit cannot handle it, he and the rest of his unit are failed out of the program. The rationale is simple. If one member cannot take the training and his unit cannot carry him through, they have all failed. Ishida was our commander. He came from a rich family in Saitama, the kind of family where he was given every advantage possible, with the expectation that he would keep the family name prestigious. He was older than the rest of us, as he'd already spent 6 years in the army. A very severe man, rarely given to humor. Takagawa was usually the second in command. As our designated marksman, he tended to have a better tactical view of how an operation should be run, simply because he needed to study the terrain more. He loved to get us laughing. Without him, I think I would have gone crazy in the first few months. Our mage's name is Sasaki. She had been training as a Miko, an apprentice priestess, when her magic began to manifest. She was in the unit for the challenge and for the money. Her family had always been poor, and they had always told her she would never amount to anything. I think she had joined the Red Samurai just to prove them she could do anything she wanted. My kind of attitude, I admit. Gaichu cocks his head amused. I'm unsurprised to hear it. You and Sasaki share similar attitudes. Neither of you stops to consider if your goals are attainable. You simply know that they are. Our heavy gunner's name was Aomori. He kept the team honest with itself. He never had a disparaging word for anyone, would not hesitate to call someone out for their behavior. Sasaki loved it about him. Really, she loved all of them. The two were discreet, but discretion only goes so far in a small team. Still, we respected their privacy where possible. That kind of thing allowed? The unit commander allows it, yes. We were given incredibly wide leeway in what to allow or forbid in our unit, the belief being that results were the only thing that mattered. If the unit failed, it would fail as a whole. Sasaki and Aomori were crazy about each other, and it would have been done more harm to keep them apart. Lastly, there was me. I was the close quarters and breaching expert, the first man in the door when we had to clear a room. I was the perfectionist on the team. Aomori could get us to do anything, but I was the one who made certain we did it well, with style. How do you mean? If a thing is worth doing, it is worth doing well. If that thing is also your duty, it is worth doing perfectly. Many times we would perform a drill exercise well enough, but that was not good enough if I had to trust my life to it. That was why we became one of the best teams in the organization's history. That's a thing to be proud of. Of course it is. Do you think I do not know that? Gaichu sighs heavily. I apologize. It's just that those feelings are still raw sometimes. Even if I were to be cured, I could never go back. They have been disgraced and I have done unforgivable things. I have been cast out for good. What do you mean? Gaichi closes his eyes, sighing through his nose. When they ambushed me in Fukuoka, it was fight or die. I killed 2 of them before I escaped. I will not be returned to the unit, no matter what. He opens his eyes after a moment, shoulders slumping. It is not an easy memory to grapple with. That's fine, Gaichi. Take your time. Thank you, Beej. I'm sorry I cannot talk about it now, but I need to process the emotions. They are still raw. I am tired. Come back later and we can talk more. Ooh, bet. Maybe I'll do Ractor's mission. Oh, wait. Box of memories. Do you think you'll care if I look at it? Gaichi's box. Personal effects is overflowing with a collection of souvenirs, mementos, and knickknacks. There's no rhyme or reason to the collection of items. They appear to have been thrown in haphazardly. Lying atop the box are a collection of antique Japanese coins in an overturned wooden mask and a black lacquered box with gold inlay. Gaichi cocks his head, sniffing the air in your direction. Ah, I've seen you found my box of personal effects. Please feel free to examine whatever you like within it. Just take care to put them back when you're done. I do not own much, but the things I keep are very precious to me. They are all that remains of my former life. Well, that mask, then. Wooden mask is extremely light, painted a pale white. Surface is almost as smooth as porcelain, lacks the sheen of lacquer. The face's traits are delicate, almost feminine, and feature lifted eyebrows, bright red lips, and delicately carved teeth. The teeth have been stained a deep black, barely visible past the slightly parted lips. Expression, while kindly, is ambiguous and uncanny. Viewed from above, its expression is one of calm contentment. Shifting the mask view from an upward angle causes the expression to seem melancholy, almost pain. What's this wooden mask, Gaichu? It's a mask! Yaha! It's a mask from the historical no play, Ikuta Atsumori. The face is that of a young samurai, Taira no Atsumori. Oh, yeah, interesting. Gaichu faces your direction, gesturing towards the mask. I had a collection of a dozen or so no masks when I was younger. That is the last remaining one and my personal favorite. Alright, let's see what he has to say about the difference between a normal and a no play. No actors wear those masks to cover their faces. The angles they hold themselves in changes the expression on the mask, so the acting is highly rigid and controlled. The entire performance is highly ritualized. There's no measure of improvisation allowed, only refinement of the prescribed form. Gaichu folds his arm over his chest, dipping his chin in thought. The words are sung like in a Western opera and accompanied by a set of musicians known as a hayashi. The hayashi keep time with several drums, a flute, and a chorus. A chorus in a Greek theatrical sense, I mean. Unfortunately, No is an unpopular art in modern times. Expect this to become all the plays are conducted in classical Japanese, which is not comprehensible to the general public. I've heard that the creators of No, a father and son in the 14th century, took inspiration from magical rituals at Shinto shrines. It is said that by placing masks upon their face, the actors become possessed by the spirit of the character they play. There are worse fates, I think, than to embody the spirit of a tragic warrior like Atsumori. But what's it about? A young man travels with the priest who raised him to Ikuta Shrine to commune with the spirit of his father, Taira no Atsumori. The young man's father died at the Battle of Ichinotani when his son was only a baby, and he wishes to know who his father was. The pair stay the night in a small hut. In the night, the hermit in the hut explains that he is the ghost of Atsumori. Atsumori has been granted a brief reprieve from his time in the afterlife to meet his son. During the night, they speak of the battle in which Atsumori was killed, the history of the Taira family, and their philosophy. Atsumori fades into darkness as he finishes the tale of the Taira's downfall, just as the family itself faded into obscurity. Yeah. I believe the two main families back in that time were the Taira and the Genji. That's why Tale of Genji is an interesting book, I guess, but or is it the Heike? Damn it. The Heike was the Heike period. The Taira and the Heike, I think, were the two families. Where does Genji fit into that again? Was he one of them? Anyway, doesn't matter. So, think we, yet oh that we might change this fragile dream of joy into the lasting love of waking life, says Atsumori before fading. It is a tale of sorrow, love, and the burden of war upon the dead and living alike. The price one pays for war is not always in one's own blood alone, but in the shattering of one's own family. So why is it your favorite? Gaichu smiles, expression distant. A measure of civic pride, I suppose, and I like the story. Taira no Atsumori died at the Battle of Ichinotani just outside Kobe. The play takes place primarily in Ikuta Shrine, which is located in downtown Kobe. In all cities in Japan, especially in Keihanshin, I've always felt there's a sense of history where everyone looks. The skyline may have skyscrapers and delivery drones, but the foundations are laid on the bones of the dead. Gaichu shrugs, folding his arms across his chest. I think it is important to remember their sacrifices and joys, sorrows and glories. Gaichu laughs, suddenly shaking his head. That is why sometimes I worry that I'm a sentimentalist at heart. Alright, and the box. The box is a deep, glossy black cube. The edges and corners are rounded rather than sharp, and then gold-flaked inlay across the surface glitters even in the dim lighting of the room. Sliding the top off, the interior contents are revealed. A calligraphy set. Ooh. complete with inkstone and block, brushes, and paper. Gaichi wrinkles his nose, his expression one of distaste. Ugh, that thing. It's a beautiful set, but it is a shame that I am unable to make use of it. Surely you used to be able to? Gaichi snorts derisively, stifling laughter. No, my handwriting has always been absolutely terrible. Whatever fanciful stories you may have heard from being able to tell a swordsman's ability by his handwriting, I assure you they are wrong. That set was a gift from a professor of Japanese literature. He appreciated the interest in my classics, The Tale of the Heike, The Tale of Genji, The Collection of 10,000 Leaves, etc. I think he wished to encourage me to cultivate non-martial interests. Gaichi smiles crookedly and shrugs. I appreciated the gesture, but my attempts at fine calligraphy mostly resembled excited chickens prancing over paper, their feet soaked in ink. I'll leave it alone. And leave. Alright, keep rolling. Anybody in my... Nobody in my room. Okay. Let's take a save. It's been a while. Talk to Duncan. You find Wu sitting on his bed, staring at the floor when you come into his cabin. He rubs his head up and back, occasionally stopping to softly bounce his palm against his forehead. When he notices you, he closes his eyes and shakes his head. Not in the mood to talk right now. Got my brain around this Edward Sang thing. Tough finding out Raymond wasn't who he thought he was. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. 16 years. We lived with him 16 years and we never knew the man. 16 motherfucking years. I just gotta think. Work through this. That's fair. Nope. I need to leave his room. I haven't rested yet, no. I'm still talking to everybody. You enter Isabel's cabin to find her jacked into the octopus. Her body slouches, motionless, tethered to a machine. Computer's large display flickers to life again just as it did last time. Isabel's avatar fills the screen. This isn't helping. The avatar frowns down and you look at supreme disillusionment on his face. I'm decking. I'm in my safe space. And it doesn't help. The memories are just as painful here as they are in the real world. Memories are a part of you. Decking doesn't make you leave that behind. No, I guess that it doesn't. White plumes of static flow from the avatar's fish. He's shaking. Fucking should, though. I can't help not having a way to escape from this. So what are you going to do about it? I don't know, okay? I just don't. You know what? Hang on. The avatar winks off the screen and terminal powers down. Isabel's body shudders. A familiar tremor. Her consciousness is flooding out of the matrix into her meat. Her eyes flutter and she takes a sharp breath. Slowly, shakily, she rises from her perch on the floor. You hear the more questions, right? She coughs in the crook of her arm, wipes her nose with her sleeve. I'm sure that you are. Why else would you be bothering me? So spit them out and I'll go digging around that cesspit I call a memory. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a clue. If you're hurting Isabel, venting helps. Go ahead. She takes a deep breath, makes a visible effort to calm herself. No, that wasn't like me. This isn't the person that I want to be. I'll be okay. I can handle this. Just ask me your questions, okay? Let's get this ball rolling. All right. Walled City. Go on. She told me about your escape from the Walled City just like you said she would. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Why are you telling me about it? Because the answer she gave me raised some questions. You want me to answer them for you? All right, Bees, maybe I can satisfy your curiosity. The Walled City was a hellhole. You already know that. But for all its failings, it was a good teacher. It taught me to hide, to stay small and unnoticed and insulated, to survive. It taught me that the fish on the perimeter of the school get eaten. That sticking your neck out is a fool's errand, but that even fools can have their uses. Also taught me to recognize a stronger person when I met one and how to use that strength for my own benefit. So when I met Gobbet, I knew that she had something I didn't. Oh, damn. I feel like saying confidence is kind of a bit of a blow to somebody who's having a very hard time. So I would rather play dumb and say her magic. But I also feel like I need to show that I know things. So I'm going to say confidence. Sure, that, and her connection to Rat, everything about her, really. We were different people then. Still are now, but the difference is we were even more pronounced when we were kids. Care to elaborate on that? God was playful and carefree. She could hold her own in a scrape, but she mostly saw life as a game, and for me, well, I knew that it wasn't. I couldn't have been more than 9 or 10 at the time, but even at that age I saw Gobbet for what she represented, what she could be. What was that? My own personal road out of the walled city, a path to freedom disguised as a little girl with dreadlocks. And as it turned out, I was right. She pauses, her eyes flick to the ground, she tightens her hands into fists. Ever since I unlocked these damn memories, I can't go 10 minutes without thinking about what might have happened if I hadn't followed Gobbet out of that place. It's like a vicious cycle running over and over in my head. I hate it, but it won't stop. I feel guilty. If you need help being took it, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Gives me another reason to feel grateful to her, I guess. That's something. I've always known that I owed Gobbet, but now I remember how much and why. Anyway, that's my side of the story. I hope that it satisfied your curiosity. Now let's move on. Why'd you have your memories locked away? Why do you think? They were awful, traumatic. I'm not talking about personal trauma here. I was fortunate enough to avoid the fates of many of my peers. I didn't get pressed into service in a brothel. The organ leggers didn't get me. I only had to watch one of my siblings die. She frowns. Yeah, so it could have been worse. That doesn't make an early life in the walled city any easier to bear. Hang on, you watched one of your siblings die? Yeah, my older brother, Cabdal. Cabdal? Cabdal. Heroin overdose. He was 19, almost the same age that I am now. Sorry they had to watch that. Me too. Want to hear something awful? I almost envied him. He got out easy compared to a lot of people who died in the walled city. There was no violence. He wasn't taken down by organ leggers or gunned down by the triads. He just put a spike in his arm, depressed the plunger, and stopped breathing. Quick and easy. I'm sorry. Don't be. His death was a lesson. I did my best to learn from it. Everything that happened in my childhood was that way. A lesson in disguise. Lessons about impermanence and the random cruelty of life. Lessons about what a huge mistake it is to get attached to how to prioritize your own survival no matter what. I learned some of the same lessons when I was a kid. She nods. I know. We all carry the same scars. You and me and Gunshow and Gobbet. Some run bigger and deeper than others, but we've all got them. Her voice goes small. I don't want mine anymore. Abruptly, she turns away. And that's enough of that. Ask me something else, Beej. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Alright, Gobbet says you didn't want to guide her parents out, that you wanted them left behind. She nods miserably. Yes, but not for anything that they'd done. My parents were good people. They fled Somalia to try to find a better life for their children. It wasn't their fault they wound up in the walled city. I wanted them left behind for me. For you? What do you mean by that? Isn't it obvious? She taps her temple. This. I knew what I was going to have done. I'd planned it well in advance. After God, I was going to find someone who could make my childhood go away. How would that have stuck if my parents were around? If I had a living reminder right there next to me? It wouldn't have. So they had to stay. You did what you had to do. Yeah, I did. Besides, I was sure they'd be fine. They were my parents, grown-ups. They'd be all right. She heaves a sigh. Before you ask, I checked. They're gone now. I can't go right into the rescue. I made a decision when I was a kid. It felt like the right one at the time, and now I have to live with it. We have to live with things we regret. I didn't always, until very recently I couldn't remember any of this. Now let's change the subject, okay? Anything else would be fine. That's all for now. About the last run, please. To be honest, almost anything would be preferable. The last run? You know that whooshing run is the kind of thing you'd never see outside of China. No one's going to hire you to run around tilting paintings and breaking potted plants in Stockholm or Florence. Here, that stuff has real power. I've seen it work. A few subtle shifts in geomancy can make or break projects, people, even companies. I don't have any idea how it works, but I've seen too many people's fortunes shift as soon as a feng shui master gets involved. I'm also not sure how much it can affect the fortunes of a company as big as Wuxing, but even a small shift is enough to cost a company like that millions of million. Anything else you want to know? No. Nope. I've got to go, Isabel. She nods glumly. Be well. I think that went reasonably well. Take another save. Talk to Gobbet. Hi. As you enter Gobbet's cabin, two things grab your attention. The first is Gobbet herself. She looks exhausted, bleary-eyed. That easy smile you come to associate with her is nowhere to be seen. The second is what she's doing. Gobbet appears to be in the middle of a valiant attempt to stuff a whole roasted duck into a saucepan half its size. The bird's rubbery neck flops from side to side with every heave of her shoulders. She looks up at the saucepan, blinking. A corner of her mouth twitches upward, but the half-smile falls away almost immediately. Oh, hey, Beej, caught me at a bad time. I was just making dinner. I've been watching you struggle. Looks like the duck's winning. Huh? She blinks the duck and her mouth dips into a frown. Oh, it isn't winning. It's just being stubborn. I'll make it fit. Don't you worry. She gives the berth another heave. Something gives way with an audible crunch. This would be easier with a bigger pot. I'd have to wash it first, though. She glances down at the piles of dirty clothes and assorted detritus on the floor of her cabin, frowning. To do that, I'd have to find it. Anyway, you don't want something? Up to my elbows in mallard. You feeling okay? You don't look well. She rubs the bridge of her nose with a pair of greasy fingers, leaving smudges of duck fat behind. It's weird. Ever since our last lesson, I felt, I don't know, preoccupied with the sinking ship. I don't really do the whole haunted by the demons of my past thing. I mean, that's fine for some people, but I'm allergic to drama. Generally, when thoughts of the past get me down, I remind myself that it doesn't matter, laugh it off, and go have a snack. But this, I don't know, it's weird. Ever since our last lesson, I haven't been able to get the sinking ship out of my mind. She looks down at the pot full of mangled duck on the counter, closes her eyes. I guess I'm just worried about Cad and Mal, which is weird because why would I be? I mean, I haven't even spoken to them in years. Hell, if anything, they should be worried about me. I'm the one who gets shot at for a living. Maybe we should go check it out. The sinking ship isn't far, is it? No, I don't want to do that. At least not without a good reason. It'd be awkward, and I'm sure that it's nothing anyway. Actually, check that out. I know what this is. It's my own personal version of the same thing that we're all feeling. The psychic sewage that's been dredged up by all of us by whatever's happening in the walled city. I'm sure that you've had some flashes of memory from the Barrens in your bad dreams, right? Images from your past come back to haunt you. You aren't going to drop everything and go running back there because that would be dumb. So tell me, why should I? Because it's like 15 minutes from here? Couldn't hurt to check. I'm thinking this is her side mission, so I'm trying to push it. Look, I don't want to go back there if I don't have to. If thinking about the place is enough to mess with me like this, I don't even want to know what being there will do. But I'll tell you what. I'll drop Melvina a line just to check in. Make sure this is a me problem and not a them problem. If there is something going on, I promise you'll be the first to know. If that's the way you want to play it. It is. Now, is there anything else you want? Can I get back to my duck? Any thoughts about that last run? You didn't bring me on our last run, so no. Nice to have a night off, I guess. Right, I didn't bring her, so thanks. Yeah, sure, Bijan. Everything will be fine. You'll see. If there is anything fishy happening on the sinking ship, you and Iz will be the first to know, I promise. Did I not get a lesson this time because I skipped that part? Looks like I skipped that part. Maybe I get a lesson later. Who knows? My understanding is I can have all the sleeps I want, and it's not going to affect my... Where the fuck are you going? I can sleep all I want, and it will not affect anything else that I'm doing. It'll be good for me. As you pass in front of the walled city, something takes hold of your chest and squeezes. Hey, look at that. Yep, same thing I already had. Try to walk it off. Interesting that. Maybe I do Ractor's mission next since I've got it waiting. That's not a bad idea. I started at 6, didn't I? So it's like almost 9 o'clock. We finished a mission, which didn't take very long to finish, ultimately. I did all my talkie talk. So I could call it here, come back tomorrow, because I'll be back tomorrow. We can start by doing a mission, get right into the fun of that, and come back and do that talkie talk. I know I can always do more. The question is, should I do more? Because, I mean, I want to have a night off, too. Maybe I'll just take a break. Maybe I can do more on Sunday night. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah. Yeah. Let's take a break point here. Did I save? Let's have a look at the save games. No, I'll have a save game right now. That makes good sense. Create a new save. We've had a save game. And then I will go to... It feels weird not being in a mission and doing the save, but yeah. We'll probably end up doing the... we'll do the thing that Ractor wants to do. I think it's the Ares Asia Holdings facility job. And do a bunch of stuff as we're extra blood. Holy shit! I didn't realize that was there. And quit. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. This was great. Aleph Red, we did redo the entire Elder's Murder mystery. I did it offline, and the trick to that apparently is you have to answer the entire, like whenever you get all of the evidence, you have to answer the final conversation you have with Porter Lamb. You have to answer from the top down. You can't skip around, because if you do, it gets rid of the options above it. You have to actually go in order down the list. Which makes me wonder if that whole Gobbet thing that I just missed there, where it's, you know, actually let's just go back and have a look. If I had said to her, hey, I want to do this instead, I wonder if she would have been like, oh yeah, let's have a lesson. Or she'll just be like, I can't do a lesson. I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to cram a duck into a thing. Why is it's a Heoi, but then the Wujing thing is coming up? I guess that was the last thing that happened when I came back, so yeah. Let's just see what she says. Go talk to Gobbet. I'm gonna fly through this a little bit. Looks like the duck is winning. Have to find that. Ready for my next lesson. No lessons today. What's wrong? You don't look very good. And then we get into the rest of the stuff that she said. So yeah. So no worries there. Exit. Quit. That's okay. I basically just went back and I asked her what, you know, hey, do you want to do? Can we have a lesson? And she's like, no lessons. I'm not feeling so good. And that was it. Maybe I get karma. It skipped it so fast. I don't think I get karma for asking about lessons. I think if anything, me not asking about lesson was probably better. Weird though, because it did feel like for a second I'm like, wait, because I didn't go down fully in order, did I actually end up screwing this up somehow? But anyway. But yeah, this is the end of Play It Forward for now. Duck the audio a hair more so I can go look at the notifications. We can do all the subs now. If you want to sub, I would get in on that. So before I went live, I noticed the other Pen subscribed for 28 months. 28 months, that's in February, so you're going to get a call out for that. Illisign subscribed for 44 months, welcome back. Dog of Myth subscribed for 3 months, saying yay! Mr. Dirty subscribed for 25 months, yay, Shadowrun! Real Hill Wolf subscribed for 3 months, goddamn cyberpunks, get off my lawn! Rev Hologram subscribed for 5 glorious months. Welcome back, Rev. Sarcastic Comma subscribed for 20 months. Just wanted to thank both the Lure team for all the great content in the community, for just being the best on the internet. Yeah, thank you guys. You guys are great. You're a very good, well-behaved community. We have fantastic mods. You're a lot of fun. And I do enjoy popping into the Discord from time to time to seeing what you're all talking about at discord.gg/LRR, I believe is our URL. Let's keep doing the subs here. Kanamaras subscribed for 22 months, saying message. Super Dead Smurf for 8 months with a bang. Ship for 45 months. Welcome back. Ben Rail with 200 bits. Says yay upgrade times. I am Toast Beyond Toast subscribing for 28 months. Reminds me of my own very busted physical adapt days. Captain Wolf back for 9 months. Welcome back. A Wabajack for 41 months. Oh, it has been 41 months. Heckle Hyde for 9 months. Welcome back to you too. The Maricat has given 10 subs in the channel. And the following people got subs from the Maricat. Chuck J. Walk, Master Gunner, Macintoes, Rev Virad, Awexdio, Elia Beth, Mediocre Man 5, Nex Vezica, A Naughty Potato, and Skadgetalaf. Skadgetalaf. Ashiok, Nightmare Beaver, back for 26 months. All right, time to look at this game with fresh eyes. I hope you're enjoying it. In Like for 3 months. Hey Beach, happy belated birthday. Thank you very much. Dead Rekka for 57 months. Shadowrun, remember, never make a deal with a dragon unless he's running for president. John Locke Cole for 48 months. So basically, prosperity is in the walled city, if and only if you're a really big slumlord, which I suppose is kind of as expected. Also, holy crap, little or actual 48 months. That's almost 2 years. Copper Astronaut with 245 bits. I enjoy you doing streams, Beach. It would be awesome to see you do more. Well, don't worry, there's going to be a lot of these. How long to beat has this game at about 21 hours, and I realize that only works if you don't read everything out loud to a waiting audience. And if you don't do most of the lore, in fact, if you just basically fly through the game is what it feels like. So you're getting more of this. Because I'm not going to stop reading. You guys are enjoying it, so I want to keep doing that. Nsingwa 6. Actually, maybe that's a pronounceable thing. And SNG Wawa 6. Oh, well. 55 bits, though. Thank you for the 55 bits, NSNG. The Maricat with another 200 bits. Thanks for the fun. Thank you, Maricat. And I'm going to click around that to make sure those are all locked off. I appreciate everybody. This has been Play It Forward. I'm Beej. You've been watching the Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network here on Twitch.tv. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I will be back tomorrow. In fact, let's just have a look to see what's coming up tomorrow. Up next is, of course, Rhythm Cafe. Ian and Heather and Ian playing Cadence of Hyrule, Skull, Cryptid the Necrodancer, Skull, Feet, Wind, The Legend of Zelda, Wind. It's a long title. I hope you enjoy Cadence of Hyrule. Looks like a rad game. I can't wait to dig into a little bit myself at home, but that's not going to be for a while yet. And then, of course, I'll be joining you again at 6 p.m. to play more Shadowrun Hong Kong later in the week on Monday. Of course, I'll come back for another one, but we also have a Dice Friends on Monday for you. I believe Adam is returning as a Dice Friend to play another Fighting Fantasy book. So if you enjoyed watching him get debated by a pit room, that means you can come back and watch what another book would have in store for him. Twitch subs, obviously, and Twitch bits are a great way to support us, and we really appreciate everybody whose names I just read off and everybody who continues to do stuff. But we also have a Patreon, and patreon.com/loadingreadyrun is a great place to go if you want to kick in some money from month to month to help keep the lights on here and feed us and pay our rent.
Did you mention Bleed Purple?
I did not mention Bleed Purple, but everyone's been bleeding purple.
You get extra 10%.
Yeah, there's extra 10% of bits. I don't know if there's like a minimum amount you have to kick in, but if you say Bleed Purple when you give Twitch bits, that will kick in more bonus bits. That's to celebrate Prime Day coming up. It's a thing. What else? The Patreon I mentioned, and yeah, there's like, wow, so many of you. Keep in mind that's being split among like 13, 14, 15 people. Like, there's a lot of us who work here, so it looks like a lot in the Patreon, but it actually isn't when it comes down to paying everyone's salaries. And yeah, there's a lot of us on salaries now, a lot of permanent part-time employees, and and I just recently became a full-time employee as well. I'm the business manager here at Loading Ready Run now. You can also check out, because one of the things that I'm helping to push is our store. And then you go to the store.loadingreadyrun.com, and where you can buy our dice bags and t-shirts and playmats and our Penny Arcade pins and all the other cool stuff that we have on there too. So, yeah, if that's your if that's your thing, if you want to look at some of our merch, please feel free to do so. New merch will come eventually. We will be at Magic Fest Vegas in August. And I believe we're trying to prep another exclusive playmat to go to Magic Fest Vegas. And Bodacious Nia saying, you should do sleeves. Okay, Nia, we did sleeves. We are going to do sleeves again. It is more work than I expected to get sleeves made. But I am trying to make more sleeves. We will be doing more sleeves, I promise you. Don't worry about it. They're coming. I got a phone call coming up later this month. I got to talk to somebody about that. We're gonna work out sleeves again, so don't worry about that. Not only like Loading Ready Run sleeves, we have like ideas for like other designs. If you see them on the website, you'll see we're out of stock on stuff. We have more designs we'd like to do as well. But I gotta do some chatter first, so we're gonna see if I can work it out. Because man, would I be excited. Yeah, Lux Slack sleeves would actually be a good idea too, but we'll see. Right. Anything else? All right, I should just mention the hoodies. Because did a lot of work to get 3X hoodies and 4X hoodies, and I finally have a 5X hoodie. It's not exactly the same as the 2X, the 3X, the 4X. It is a different blank, but it's a good blank is my understanding. I haven't actually tried it on myself. I haven't seen what the fabric is like, but it is a lighter hoodie. You can go look it up. There's a whole thing on our website that explains what blank it is, and you can go search the internet to find out if it's a blank that you're interested in, but it's supposed to be a light thing. So anyway, I'm just going to say that's it so that I can go home. Thank you very much for joining me. The Rock Pusher likes the 4X hoodie. That's awesome. It's hard to get hoodies in sizes across. Fine, a bit of business thing. Whenever you're getting sizes made of stuff, big companies like Gildan will make stuff from like extra small or extra extra small all the way up to like a 5X or even some cases 6X, because they manufacture a lot all the time everywhere. And our standard hoodie, which is made by Independent, only does up to 2X because I think they don't make as many of the blank, and they don't really I don't think they actually looked at. I don't really know because I'm not part of their business, but they only make up to 2X in this one size. So we had to look for 3Xs and 4Xs and 5Xs in other styles. And we've been looking for styles that fit what we've made already and don't feel like, because you don't want to be like, well, this is a nice light terry cloth hoodie, but if you have to buy it in 5X, then you're getting a 32-ounce fleece covered hoodie. And it's like, you don't want that. We want something that's fun and nice and cool and matches the thing that we've already made. So it's hard. It's very difficult when you're sourcing stuff like that. Maybe one day we'll just make custom hoodies. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, that's the hoodie thing, I guess. And there's always trying to get in more stuffs on more stuff on the site, including like men's and women's sizes for t-shirts, and once a lot of things calm down here, and once I'm able to get some other things taken care of that I'm trying to take care of, then it's easy for me to concentrate on making more merch, and we will have more merch, and there will be more of it, because it's fun to make merch. It's fun to sell you guys stuff that you can wear around that has our memery on it, and I just love that stuff. So yeah, all right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming to Play It Forward. Have a good night.